Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to NXTGEN Racing live on YouTube and live on Facebook. You join us on a Sunday night for Thursday night racing here at NXTGEN Racing. This is the GT3s and our 9th season. And a little bit of an explanation as to why we're streaming on a Sunday. Well, it's because I sadly had a personal issue on Thursday and I had to skip broadcasting the race live. But we're here Sunday night, which is very apt for racing. We always watch racing on Sunday night, don't we? Well, on Sundays anyway. So here's more of your motorsport digest on a Sunday. This is a replay broadcast of the Thursday night racing that was round 5 at Hockenheim of the NXTGEN Racing GT3 Championship. But before we get started with our introduction to the show tonight, let's give a shout out to NXTGEN Racing for putting on the show here, as well as its partners, sponsors and affiliates that help run the show. They are Power Max Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design and Falconer PC. So this is the NXTGEN Racing GT3's 9th season. I've been broadcasting this since season 5 and it's been getting better and better every single season. So let's see how tonight and the rest of the season goes. We're in round 5 right now, so we're about to go into the second half of the season after tonight. But a little bit about the series itself. If you like this series from what you are watching tonight, of course you haven't seen much yet, but later on in the night, if you are liking what you are seeing, there is a QR code towards the top of our screen there. That'll give you access to NXTGEN Racing's Discord server. You can join that as a racing enthusiast, as a racing fan, a NXTGEN fan, a NXTGEN enthusiast, or if you want to get involved in the racing here on Thursday nights, broadcast on Sundays at the current point. But yeah, you can get involved as a driver. We also have other leagues going on, such as the infamous, world famous NXTCC hosted on Tuesday night, and we also have a GR86 league going on at the moment at NXTGEN Racing. So there are two different formats of racing in this GT3 Championship. The one we are racing tonight is the regular format that's hosted in 7 of the 10 rounds of the season. We'll have a 20-minute qualifying session that will start at 8 o'clock UK time, and then we'll have a 20-minute sprint race to follow, and then a 60-minute race at the end with pit stops, or one scheduled pit stop should we say. And that is our night of racing. That's our itinerary. And what makes this championship so unique is there are multi-skilled tiered classes that the drivers can racing. They are put into their classes at the start of the season or in their first round, and they are gold category, silver category and bronze category. The gold category typically comprises of drivers who are in the top third of the field, the best of the best in this series. The middle tier go into the silver category and the bronze category for the lesser experienced drivers. And this, as we mentioned, is a GT3 Championship, so it hosts all modern GT3 machinery, and it's a fixed setup series as well, which means that the car you are given is the setup you are given as well. The only thing you're allowed to change is brake bias, so it is you and the car and just your skill out there on the track. And what also makes this series so great is there is a live race control system, a full course yellow system and a safety car if it's needed. We also have red flags available in this series. We haven't seen any, touch wood, but they are available as well. But basically what that means is this series is well governed, it is well scrutinised, and it means if any drivers are needed penalties during the races, they will receive penalties during the races. We saw a lot of them last time out at Aragón in round 4 of the championship, and it really threw a cat amongst the pigeons in that round. So let's see what we'll have tonight. And of course, another thing that's going to be needed later in the season is the endurance rounds. There are 3 of them that run in this season, and they are singular races on the night, 2-hour endurances with reverse championship order to set the grid. So they make for some very exciting races, and we got one of them coming up very shortly, actually, as this is our calendar for the season. And we have got a little bit of overlay issue at the bottom there, but let's just ignore that for now. These are track lists for tonight's this season. We started off at Mexico City for round 1 of the championship back in March, over a month ago, and then it was the Interlagos Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit for round 2 of the championship. Road America hosted the 3rd round of the championship, and that was the first of 3 endurance rounds for the season. And what a round that was. We started off with rain in that race, and it dried out as the race went on. And then last week we were racing at the Motorland Aragón circuit in Spain. Now that was a very interesting round. As I mentioned, there was a lot of penalties in during the races in that round, so it really did throw a cat amongst the pigeons, as I mentioned. But tonight we're here at the Hockenheimring. We're here in West Germany for a track that was infamous for the German Grand Prix in Formula 1, of course. And it is a track that is 94 years old, believe it or not. It was first built in 1932 with a very different layout to what we have at the Hockenheimring, which we'll show you very shortly. Nowadays, it doesn't host the Formula 1 German Grand Prix, unfortunately. I quite like this circuit, even in its old format when it went through the forest as well. But nowadays, it hosts the DTMs, GT Opens. It is a very homely place for GT3 racing, and it houses us tonight. Now, the conclusion of tonight will conclude the first half of the season, but next week starts the second half of the season, and what a way to start it. We're going to be doing a 2-hour endurance at the Nordschleife. The Nürburgring will host the next round, and it's actually only 200 kilometers from here, so logistically, it's a nice, easy drive for the drivers to the next round within a week. But that's going to be a very, very exciting round. I would normally say from 1 week to from today, but it's not. It's coming up next Thursday on the 30th. So be sure to tune in to NXTGEN Racing on YouTube and Facebook for that round next week. But the remainder of the season will be round 7, Silverstone Circuit, the track closest to me. So nice, easy travelling for me. And then round 8 will be hosted at Monza in Italy. The Canadian Tire Motorsport circuit in, you guessed it, Canada will host round 9. And then the final round will be hosted at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit on the 4th of June to crown our champions and to conclude the season. And these are the cars that they can race in this season. We mentioned it is traditional GT3 machinery, and these are the cars that they can choose at the start of the season, or indeed they can switch to other cars throughout the season, but it will incur a 50-point penalty, which, believe me, is a lot. But the cars that they can race in this series are the Acura NSX, the Aston Martin Vantage, the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2, the BMW M4, the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, the Ferrari 296, the Ford Mustang, the Lamborghini Huracan, the McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG, and the Porsche 911. And that is the majority of the housekeeping over and done with. In fact, it is the housekeeping over and done with, because this is going to be a very different broadcast tonight in the sense that we won't be able to provide you a few things because this is a delayed broadcast. It is technically a replay broadcast. And with that, a couple of things we can't provide, and that is championship standings as it was before round 5, because they've already raced. We've already got championship standings processed. But I have a vague memory of what the championship standings were coming into this round. And the other thing we're going to struggle with tonight is getting replays of incidents. Now, we can do them. They're just tricky to negotiate back to live scenes. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful with that one tonight. So we're going to have to try and get the incidents as they come. But we'll shoot into qualifying very shortly, actually, ladies and gentlemen, because we are not limited by the session progressing or anything like, or waiting for any servers to be kicked off. We can actually get through this in quicker time than we normally do, actually. But let's just have a little bit of a memory recap of what's happened in the championship to date. Now, of course, heading out of the last round at Aragón, Harry Langford had a very, very good round in the gold category we're talking about here. He scored the most points of the gold category and extended his lead at the top of the table. He led the championship heading into this round, whilst William Guthrie and Benji McCluskey very close for second and third, but they are playing catch-up on Harry Langford. Whereas in the silver category, it was John Berry who took the lead in the championship last round, following not just a good round at round 3, but round 4, Aragón last week as well. He scored a whopping 45 points, which is 1 point off maximum points you can get in a round. So a very fantastic round for him. In the silvers, last time at Aragón, following behind in second place is Alan McCain, looking to claw back some points tonight, if he can. And in the bronze category, Joshua Downing still leads the championship. He had his worst round of the bunch last time at Aragón, but he still leads the championship, which is testament to the performances and consistency he's actually had this season. But Gabriel Papaconstantino is not far behind in second place. And actually, the hero of bronze category last time out at Motorland Aragón was Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, who scored near maximum points last week in bronze category at Aragón circuit, his home circuit, I might add. So he joins the championship question. So, let's move on to qualifying then. And we'll get started with tonight's action. So here we go. Qualifying is off and away. And out onto the track. First of all, before everyone, it's the usual suspects. Benjamin McCluskey out there straight away onto the track. He does like having a clear track ahead of him. He's our defending champion. That's why he's got the number 1 on his door. Not too far behind him, actually, there is William Guthrie following him out. Now, William Guthrie and Benjamin McCluskey are close on points, but both of them had a few races, not many, but a few races that have pulled them behind in the championship from the leader in gold category, as we mentioned just a few moments ago, and that is Harry Langford, whom I'm trying to find in my standings right now, and I can't quite see his name, and that's because there are more than 45 drivers out there right now, so it's very difficult to find them all and navigate them all. But it means we've got big grids, it means we've got a lot of excitement, and there's always something going on in the races throughout the field. Most of the time, anyway. Now, Harry Langford, our championship leader, here he is, going through the Mercedes arena right now, and he goes wide there, and the reason is, I was just about to explain it actually, but normally what we have done in previous seasons is we'll do an onboard lap of our championship leader in gold category to get a lap around the circuit, but we will wait an additional lap this season because the tyres take so much longer to warm up nowadays on iRacing that it takes a lap and a lap to get them up to temperature, and then more to get them up to proper temperature and performance. But something else that should be mentioned heading into tonight's round actually is there has been a little bit of a BOP shake-up on iRacing, that's I've been told. Now, I don't race these GT3s nowadays. I do every now and again when there's a massive endurance on, like Sebring or Daytona. But that's my limit when it comes to GT3 racing on iRacing. But actually, there has been a bit of a BOP shake-up, and it might mean that certain cars become quicker, certain cars become slower. Now, the main cars I would say so far this season that have been top of the pops, is a term I like to use a lot, the Mustang, which is the most populous car in the field, and the Mercedes. There have been times where the Porsche has performed quite well, but until tonight, it's not been the standout favourite amongst this GT3 crowd. So let's see what happens tonight with this bunch of cars. We have got, in the championship anyway, every manufacturer or every GT3 car represented that can be chosen. At least one driver is selected each car, and actually our championship leader in the bronze category, Josh Downing, is the only driver in the field in the Acura. Okay, right, so let's head back to our championship leader, because he'll be starting a lap very soon of Hockenheim. That will hopefully be a nice, clean, decent, fast lap. And the interesting thing about Hockenheim is it's got a very large variance of corners and track widths, actually. There's actually half the track where it's super wide, and there's some of the track, the stadium section we just saw Langford go through, which is quite narrow. So quite a diverse circuit, but as we start a flying lap on board with Harry Langford, he crosses the line and heads into turn number 1, straight after the line. The right-hander of the Nord curve. You've got to make sure you don't go too wide on the left, but you can go off the track quite a bit and onto the runoff curb. Heavy braking into turn number 2. Normally, back in the day, the days I remember the Hockenheimring, you go straight on there and into the forest, but here we head onto the Parabolica. 4 corners complete so far. This long left-hander of turn number 5, the Parabolica, the fastest point on the circuit. Let's see what our speeds will go up to. Not even up to 6th gear yet. You know what? That is a lot slower than I thought it was going to be. Just less than 160 miles per hour, but still speeds that would make our eyes water in real life. Now, out of the hairpin, the slowest corner on the circuit, heading up towards turn 7. Flat out for Harry Langford there. Now breaking into the Mercedes Arena, turn number 8. One of the more tricky corners on the circuit, because it's always slower than you think it's going to be. And it dips a little bit on the corner exit, so it's very tricky to keep hold of the rear end, as it was for Langford heading out of turn number 10 then. Now into the right-hander at the Mobile 1 corner. Long right-hander. And into the stadium section now, the Thatcher's corner. Turn 12, a banked left-hander. Rear end getting loose there, 13 and 14 here, and then 15 and 16 is the Sud curve. And that is a lap of the Hockenheimring. So let's see how that lap was for Harry Langford. It goes up to 4th place at the moment. Quite away actually off top spot McCluskey at the moment, but we'll see how the session progresses. Benjamin McCluskey on a 37.3 at the moment. He is just a tad quicker than Craig Tordock at the moment. He's shown good pace this season. The results haven't quite come just yet. He did have his debut round, I think it was Road America, for the season that is. He did race last season in drips and drabs. But a good lap so far from Craig. William Guthrie, also a championship competitor in gold category, is 3rd. Meanwhile, in the silver category, John Berry, the usual suspect, is at the top of silver category. And we must say a welcome back to currently 2nd in silver category in qualifying right now, Matthias Smolny. So we can see there in 2nd, and we're just having a few issues with the timing board here. That might be one of the drawbacks of doing this post-live. But Matthias Smolny is in 2nd position there, and I can tell you, actually, he is 3/10 off top spot John Berry at the moment. And in the bronze category, he was one of the standout drivers last time out at Motorland Aragón, and so far so good in the bronze category here at Hockenheim. Adrian Ruiz Hernandez is quickest at the moment in bronze category, and our timer screen has just sorted its life out. There we go. Jochen Seeger is on home turf today, and pretty good opening lap from him in 2nd place there. Also on home turf is teammate Mike Breedner, also in the Akuri Col Droisseur team. As our championship leader goes to 2nd in the standings, still just shy of half a second off William Guthrie at the top for the moment. So far, I'm not actually seeing a big shake-up in the BOP that might cause a shake-up in the order of the cars, but someone who has just gone to the top of the bronze category in qualifying here is Stephen de Grevelia, 1st place right now. Quite a way clear, actually, of his competitors at the moment. Meanwhile, in the silver category is shuffled up a little bit there, but John Berry puts himself back to the top spot. And then taken away by Sean Shoup, but someone who has just gone to the top in qualifying, who I believe is in bronze category, was actually unclassified when I checked the standings. But Matt Jordan goes to the top here in bronze. But Sean Shoup with a really good time in silvers at the moment. Jonas Andersson was a direct competitor in the bronze category earlier on in the season. It has slipped of late, but he can regain it with some good rounds coming up. The Gaslit Motorsports driver from Norway. Let's see how he gets on as we approach the halfway point in the season, and there's a car off on the side there. Okay, Harry Langford is crossing the line again. Championship leader doesn't go quicker, actually. It's a couple of hundredths off his personal best. Now, we are looking at the qualifying standings at the moment in category order. Excuse me. But we will eventually switch to the overall standings. And the reason we're going to do that is because the grid for the sprint race is set by the overall qualifying results we'll see here right now. So essentially, where you are in category is partially irrelevant. You still get the bonus point if you're pole in your category, but on the flip side, the more drivers, I always say this, the more drivers you've got between you and your rivals, being your rivals behind you, then the better off you are going to be when it comes to maintaining points for the sprint race. Because the more drivers you've got in other categories, the more protected you are, I suppose. William Guthrie heading through the stadium section right now. And there'll be a couple of drivers who will be nipping back into the pits shortly to get new tyres. Are going to switch things up a little bit in the standings here. I'm just going to change a few things. Right, because he is unclassified, I am going to put Matt Jordan as an unclassified category driver, because I don't think it works for the points if we have him in one of the categories. So yeah, at the moment this changes things a little bit here. So first in bronze category right now is Shamoy Samuel. Bronze category 3/10 clear, but there's quite a few places clear in the overall standings, which we'll switch to now, because we are around about the halfway point in this session. There we go, so it completely changes things up. Bronze category, all except Shamoy Samuel, are outside the top 25 at the moment, but a very good drive so far from Samuel in the Porsche. First place in the bronze at the moment. Andrew Allen has switched categories, I am told. He is now a silver category driver, was a bronze category driver, and that was by personal choice. He chose to go into the silver category, as I'm told. So we'll see how he gets on. So far so good. Provisional pole position in silver category ahead of the notorious John Berry. John for Gold is a trending hashtag in the NXTGEN Discord community, or is it Berry for Gold? I can't quite remember what the hashtag is. Put it in the YouTube chat, get it trending on YouTube as well. So far so good in qualifying for William Guthrie, 4/10 clear of Harry Langford at the moment, and Stefan Vessel's not too far behind Harry Langford, but Stefan Vessel's, you won't mind me saying this, but for him this has been a miserable start to the season. He's just been plagued with bad luck, and he's just clinging on to a championship chance still here. 4th place so far in qualifying, as Benji McCluskey has just moved up to 2nd. But let's see if Vessels can get his championship back on track tonight, because it is the end of the first half of the season after tonight. Very good start. He's normally good in qualifying, isn't he? Adam Wilson-Weir, 5th place right now in gold category. He is only 2 seasons ago a bronze category champion, so has come on leaps and bounds whilst he's been in the series, so gets better and better each time. So far so good tonight. Adrian Ruiz Hernandez has taken pole position, provisional pole position, away from Shamoy Samuel in bronze category, and puts himself 23rd overall. And now we have a new pole sitter, and I say pole sitter because it's the points that count. One singular point to the pole sitters in qualifying in this series. Alan McCain is now fastest in silver category and 14th overall on the grid. That's a great start to the night for him, who wants to get his championship lead back from John Berry in that silver category. A car off to the side there with a missing rear wing, so has to tow back to the pits. 13 minutes expired in qualifying. Once the timer gets to 20 minutes, they are allowed to complete their laps, as long as they started it before the timer gets to 20 minutes. There are actually some sims out there, such as Race Room as an example that jumps to mind straight away, and AMS2, where it doesn't allow you to complete your lap. Jumping up into the top 5 in qualifying now is Jack Pittas. I've referred to him over the years as Mr. Consistent. Mr. Consistent is into the top 5 tonight, as it stands anyway in qualifying right now. Stein Vatens up to 4th place in silver category, and that puts him into the top 20 overall, just ahead of Zara McGuinness, who I think didn't race last week, so welcome back to Zara. But still bronze category. Quickest at the moment is Adrian Ruiz Hernandez. Shamoy Samuel in second, who is in the pits, exiting the pits right now, actually. So we'll head back out onto the track with 6 minutes. Not much time to try and get some more laps in. Really, you need about 3 or 4 laps, maybe even 5, to get the car properly up to speed nowadays in the GT3s on iRacing. But we'll see how Samuel gets on for the remainder of qualifying here. He's on board with William Guthrie. That is a very tricky corner. Most drivers would assume it's a flat-out corner, or most people would assume it's a flat-out corner. It really isn't, especially in GT3 cars. It's a very, very tricky track, actually, Hockenheim's. I've always found it quite a frustrating track, because you always want to go through the corners faster than you actually can. In that sense, it's a really frustrating track, but it's one that rewards precision. Getting your lap absolutely perfect here is probably more important than a lot of other tracks. There's a lot of runoff here as well. A lot of areas such as turn 1 here, you can see where you can go far off the edge of the track. In William Guthrie's case, very far off the track then, but iRacing / the track allows it. So you've got to use that as much as you can, as it clouds over a lot here at the Hockenheimring. Last 5 minutes of qualifying now, though. Our current pole sitters in each category are William Guthrie in the golds, and overall, of course, Alan McCain is fastest in silvers. He's 15th on the grid and currently 29th on the grid. Fastest in bronze is Adrian Ruiz Hernandez. Four minutes to go. Someone asked the sun to come back out. I prefer it when it's nice and bright here and I can actually see the cars. Ruiz Hernandez with a little bit of a draft in front of him, with a gassed up Motorsports teammate ahead helping him out. That's Matt Gatter just ahead. And I can confirm, actually, that tonight we have 47 drivers on the entry list. Another good turnout, and it goes to show Aragón actually had the least entries of the season so far. It just goes to show how much people love that track. Ruiz Hernandez had a little scrape of the wall there. It might have been a nice, good old iRacing miss, even though the car looked like it hit it. It didn't look like it affected the car too much, but it was very close. Okay, so as we're heading into the final stages of qualifying, how's this lap going to be for Ruiz Hernandez? Yellow sectors at the moment. It's a 3-sector track, which is nice and easy when it comes to comparing times. But we have seen this a lot recently in qualifying, actually, where the drivers do struggle in this latter part of the session to get better and better laps. I'll say that now and watch everyone put in a quicker lap. But spin in the background there. I think that was for Matt Gatter. But we did see at Aragón as well, where drivers were struggling after about 12 to 13 minutes to get better laps in. That is with the exception of Stefan Wessels right now, who puts himself into second place. Why do these drivers have to disprove me all the time? Nice second place there. Puts him ahead of Benji McCluskey and, crucially, championship leader Harry Langford in fourth place. Now, Langford won't mind that. He's been in worse spots and done well after it anyway. Of course, he had his win in the feature race at Interlagos. He had a win in the sprint race last time out at Aragón. That's the races he's won this season, and he got second in the feature race last time out at Aragón, so a very successful night for him. Adam Wilson-Weir is cooking tonight. Fifth place is taken back away from Jack Pittas now. Top 5 for this guy. He's cooking at the moment. And just 12 thousandths of a second off championship leader as well. To be fair, one of his teammates, Harry Langford, but Wilson-Weir is looking pretty good tonight when it comes to the times. Alan McCain followed by another Alan, but surname Alan, spelt differently, in second place, as actually the aforementioned Alan McCain, up to 8th place. I did see Alan for Gold in Discord not long after the racing on Thursday, so I wonder if that's a precursor of what's going to happen tonight. I wonder. Now, Alan McCain looking great in the standings right now with 8th place and a long way clear of all of his silver category rivals. Now, over to the bronze category. Shimoy Samuel's out on the track and he's going to try and beat Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, whom of which is in the pits. So he said that's enough. But Shimoy Samuel only needs to improve his time by 400ths, which is looking tricky. Yellow sectors at the moment. And that last lap, certainly nowhere near it, but we'll get another lap to try. Whereas Benjamin McCluskey just behind Shimoy Samuel there on the track goes into second position. Benjamin McCluskey takes that away from Stefan Vessels and gets himself onto the provisional front row, and William Guthrie has called it a day on qualifying. He's in the pits now, but has quarter of a second clear of all of his rivals, so Guthrie has really, really bossed it in qualifying right now. Now, drivers who'll be crossing the line, Matthias Smolny in the silver category will be one of the first to cross the line. It was a good second sector, and it is a very good third, and it's a good lap up to second place in the silver category, 15th overall. That's a brilliant comeback for Matthias Smolny. Gavin Gardner with a very good final lap there, up into the top 10, 9th place, and 8th in category for Gavin Gardner, putting the admin of the series, Gaz Williams, down to 10th position. Now, other drivers who are out on the track. There's Kurt Van Hoenicker still out there. There's a couple of drivers who have already reset to the pits. I think that's Nigel Stock just ahead, who's come across the line. No improvement for Nigel Stock, and Kurt Van Hoenicker is 3rd position, just behind Shimoy Samuel and Adrian Ruiz Hernandez. So a good session there for the Belgian driver, not too far from home tonight. And Jason Raff with a brilliant final lap there puts himself into 7th position, and Stefan Vessel's teammate of Jason Raff has swiped second away from Benji McCluskey, who he himself is still on a lap, but I don't think that's quicker. No, it's not. He will stay 3rd, Will, the defending champion. Kruger crosses the line. 5th place for Jeffrey Kruger. And Gabriel Papaconstantino crossed the line as well. He is 4th in qualifying. He is one of the drivers going for the championship in bronze category. So I think that is going to be our qualifying. Yes, it is. So our highest of each category in the standings are, in gold category, William Guthrie, Alan McCain in the silver category, and Adrian Ruiz Hernandez in the bronze category. So we will head over to the race session very, very shortly. It will be the first of 2 races tonight, the sprint race, and it will be a 20-minute race, as we can see there. And it will be formed by the overall results of the session we have just seen there. So without further ado, let's move on to said race session. And here is the grid for our opening race of the night. Remember, it's an overall based grid, so we will see the categories mixed together here. But our pole sitter is William Guthrie in the Full Tilt Motorsport Mercedes at the top of the standings there. In second position, swiping it away at the very end of the session, was Stefan Vessels. He'll line up on that front row alongside William Guthrie. Defending champion Benji McCluskey, 3rd position, alongside the championship leader Harry Langford, 4th. Adam Wilson-Weir, with one of his best starting positions in gold category, is 5th, with Jack Pittas alongside in 6th. Jason Raff, with a good late lap in qualifying, is 7th, with Jesse Payne-Wilkins alongside in 8th. Alan McCain, highest of the silver category drivers, is 9th, with Gavin Gardner in 10th position. Gaz Williams will line up 11th, with Craig Tordock in 12th position. 13th, Matt Jordan, with George Plaster alongside in 14th position. Ben Alcher will line up 15th alongside 2nd place in silver category, Matthias Smolny. Archie Bennett, is 17th, with Andrew Allen, newly in silver category for tonight, is 18th. John Berry will line up 19th, our championship leader in silvers. Rounding off the top 20 is Kieran Davidson. Starting up 21st is Phil McDougall, with Jeffrey Kruger in 22nd. Matthew Addy, 23rd, from Zara McGuinness, rounding off 24th. 25th is Stein Vatens, with Nigel Sock alongside. Elwyn Sykes 27th from Sean Shute. And now we have the start of the bronze category drivers. First of all of them is Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, with a second consecutive pole position in bronze category. Shamoy Samuel with his highest bronze category qualifying position in the VCR team, 30th overall. Kurt Van Herniker 31st, with Paul Williams in 32nd. Gabriel Papaconstantino is in 33rd, with Quinton Klemper in 34th. 35th is Wesley Lewin, with Wojciech Kerp in 36th. David Price is in 37th, with Mark Baker in 38th. And then the remainder of the field are mostly bronze category drivers. Championship leader Josh Downing, Jonas Anderson in 40th, Mike Reedner 41st, Stephen de Gravelia 42nd, Jochen Seeger on home turf tonight 43rd, Davide Favo in 44th, Matt Gatter in 45th, and Andy Rooney and Damon Shales will line up at the back of the grid. So we will be getting underway very shortly for this opening race of the night here at Hockenheim. This is the sprint race for the Next Gen Racing Round 5 at Hockenheim. William Guthrie, following the pace car, will lead us round the stadium section to start this sprint race. No split grid, they'll all start together. And it's a very narrow part of the track here to start this. So the formation lap for the drivers further back in the field are going to struggle. And as William Guthrie leads us around, the pace car will go in. They have to maintain safety car speed until the lights go out, from red to no lights. And here they go, approaching the line now, and away we go. William Guthrie starts us for round 5 here at Hockenheim. He's on the inside heading into turn number 1, and Stefan Vessels turns into William Guthrie. No contact made, but has to avoid and goes a little bit wide, and as a result, Benji McCluskey gets in front with Adam Wilson. We are going for a move for that third spot, and Stefan Vessels had to brake super late for that corner to defend his third place, which he has for the time being as we head on to the Parabolica. Not a great start for the South African. Meanwhile, William Guthrie leads at the front, and in the silver category we've got Alan McCain still in that first spot of the silvers. We head into the hairpin. It splits up a little bit amongst the fields, and this is a big gaggle of cars we've got heading into the hairpin now. We've got moves from other drivers, but it's still Ruiz Hernandez who's on the outside, looking away from any collisions here. But Papaconstantino has got in front at the start of this race. Got a little bit of a hitch with the timing tower. We might have that tonight, as this is not an actual live session. Now William Guthrie's still trying to warm up tyres, weaves to one side of the track and then back over, trying to get heat into those tyres. But it's a good start to the race. Gets a little bit of a gap on Benji McCluskey behind. These two are going to be very keen to get points on their rival, Harry Langford, who loses a place at the start of this race to teammate Adam Wilson-Weir. But Harry Langford can afford to lose a few points, but has to keep hot on the pressure for Guthrie, McCluskey and Vessels if he wants to keep the championship well in his control. End of lap 1. Guthrie leads from McCluskey, Vessels, Wilson-Weir and Langford. Meanwhile, silvers, it is lead for Alan McCain. In second if category is Matthew Smolny, and championship leader in third, John Berry. Leader of the bronze category at the moment, as we have a virtual safety car, a full course yellow. As there must have been an instance. Oh no, it's a full safety car actually, so we must have had a big incident earlier on in the lap. Now we are restricted to no replays tonight because it will mess up where we are from the live action, but we did see the first ever full safety car. last time out at Aragón. We got our second tonight, well, early in the night here at Hockenheim. And this is going to bunch up the field. Our timing tower could do with sorting itself out at some point. We'll go to the category standings now. Now our actual leader in bronze category is Gabriel Papaconstantino. Now the safety car is out for an incident that happened on lap 1. It might have been heading into turn 1, it might have been heading into turn 2, but it might have been further back in the field if I'm just going to go back to the events of the start. I'm not going to go back and see any replays, but I did see something happen to Wesley Lewin and Paul Williams at the start of this race. I can see that out of this race at the moment is David Price, Archie Bennett and Stein Vatens. It's a good start to this race for Papaconstantino. Just ahead of Ruiz Hernandez. Really putting in some good form in these recent rounds. Championship leader Josh Downing is in 9th, actually 7th. No, probably a little bit higher, 5th place at the moment in bronze. Still the safety car's out, and we'll find. There's no easy way of telling when they're going to go in. The drivers will know they're communicated to by race control. We haven't quite got the luxury of that communication, especially not tonight anyway. The timing tower in the Macarena at the moment by the looks of it, or its version of it. A couple of drivers heading to pit lane, heading out of pit lane. There's a couple of drivers who've got themselves potentially fast repairs. Gavin Gardner, Kieran Davidson, they're all in the pits at the moment. They are very mangled up cars, actually. So potentially at the end of the race, yeah, that's a crabbing Gavin Gardner. It's a shame he had a top 10 start in this race as well. At the end of the race, we'll be able to go back and look at the incidents. But these drivers do get a fast repair, and basically what that means is a magic wand on iRacing that pings your car back together and you head straight back out on the track, but you have to go into the pits for it to do that. So there's a lot of time lost for Gavin Gardner, but he'll be able to catch up to the back of the pack. And finally our standings have sorted themselves out. Well, sort of. Bronze category are definitely behind silver category. But now we can see who is leading of each category, and the reason we do that and don't look at the overall standings is because the points that these drivers score are based on where they finish within their category. It's a little bit tricky, as I mentioned earlier. Being in a different category to drivers around you on the track in these sprint races half protects you from other drivers in your category, but it makes you nervous battling with other drivers in other categories at the same time. So we'll see if the safety car peels in. It won't be long before, once he's peeled in, that we are running again. And our safety car is piloted by Jamie Dory, who hosts our NXTCCs here at NXTGEN Racing. He was a competitor of this series once upon a time as of last season. Now he is our designated safety car driver, and as the safety car peels in, we're going to get going. And we are racing again here at Hockenheim. 7 minutes expired, give or take. William Guthrie leads us into turn number 1. The tyres are going to be nice and cool, or not so nice in William Guthrie's case. He did have a little bit of understeer into turn 1, and Benji McCluskey goes to the inside at turn number 2. But William Guthrie powers it round the outside and gets it back ahead as we head on to the Parabolica. But he is vulnerable to McCluskey now. McCluskey is planning on winning this race, clearly, because he wants to get his championship lead back from Langford, who's back in 5th place at the moment. And still our timing tower plays tricks on us. It will eventually sort itself out. Well, in silver category, Alan McCain's looking safe and sound in first place of silvers, 8th place overall. Matthias Smolny, on his first night back to Next Gen Racing, is in second position. Meanwhile, back here, whoa, side by side between the two competitors, top of bronze category, Papa Constantino versus Ruiz Hernandez. Ruiz Hernandez, who had a great night last time out at Aragón on his home circuit. But he's also got Matthew Addy in the silver category right behind. And bobbling across the sausage curb then was Ruiz Hernandez. And that is going to drop him 1 overall place and going to drop him further away from Papa Constantino. That is similar to what I was talking about with battling with drivers outside of your category in these sprint races. It makes it very, very tricky indeed. Nice lap there set by William Guthrie. He's responded following the opening corner mishap, that might have been. Oh, and that's Stefan Wessels in the wall. Heading out of turn 1. I really want to watch a replay of that because I'm not sure what happened, but we're going to have to look at that at the end of the race. But that is Stefan Wessels. More bad luck has hit him. It's just not going right for him this season. He's not out of this sprint race, but he is touring on the side there. He's going to have heavy front end damage. And we will get a look at that at the end of the race. It continues on here in gold category. That does promote Adam Wilson-Weir to 3rd place. It's immediately jumped to mind. I am speculating, but these two, might they swap positions at the end of the race if it stays like this? It's very early to tell there, but in the interest of the championship, Langford might be allowed in front of Wilson-Weir to help him in his championship. But that's very early days to be thinking about that as Alan McCain and Gaz Williams battle it out going through turn number 10. And it is Gaz Williams who gets in front of Alan McCain, who's having a real stormer tonight in silver category so far. Smolny in second. John Berry actually not too far behind Alan McCain, but 2 places behind. That's a lot of points lost to Alan McCain. Papa Constantino still leads bronze from Ruiz Hernandez, and 3rd place in bronze. Right behind Ruiz Hernandez right now is Wesley Lewin, his teammate. He's just seen by the wayside. So that's 2 things. Make sure that I see the replays later for the start of this race to see what caused the safety car and also what happened to Stefan Wessels. Fastest laps of the race set just then by Benjamin McCluskey in gold. So he's gained a little bit on William Guthrie. Matthias Smolny in silvers and Papa Constantino in the bronze category. 2 Type 2 Racing Wolf drivers are dropping back from the top 2, but they are safe-ish from fellow Type 2 Racing, Jack Pittas. As we see, that looks like Harry Langford going for the move on Adam Wilson-Weir. Was that planned? Not too sure, but we'll class that as a good overtake going into the hairpin of turn number 6. Langford's up into the top 3. That is, for his sake anyway, less points slashed away from him in the championship. We are approaching the halfway point, as I keep mentioning, and the reason I keep mentioning that is so important at this point, because actually in the first half of the season there is actually more races than there is in the second half of the season, because there are more endurances in the second half of the season, so it gets very, very important at this point. And at some point drop rounds will be implemented, and that will change things in the championship for a lot of drivers. Okay, so we're going to go to Wesley Lewin versus Adrian Ruiz Hernandez. That is, it was the closest battle on the track, but Wesley Lewin loses it heading out of Satch's corner, and that's going to drop him a lot of places down to 7th in category. It was looking really good for Wesley Lewin, but CSA are struggling now. 2 of their drivers have lost big, high-paying positions in this race now. That does set free Adrian Ruiz Hernandez at the moment. 3 seconds clear of Josh Downing, who's on for a podium here. That's certainly going to help his championship. But Papa Constantino is some way clear. 3 seconds clear now. As Shamoy Samuel. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got something wrong with Stevie de Gravelli here. I think he's had a spin at turn 2. And that's dropped him down a lot of positions to 8th place. I was just going to say, Shamoy Samuel, who had a very good qualifying, not such a good start to the race, is down in 5th now, but still pretty good position, I would say, in bronze category. So we'll see how they get on later on down the line. John Berry getting closer to Matthias Smolny. And they've got Phil McDougall hounding them behind. Phil McDougall, who is a graduate from silver category last season to gold category this season. He went on a charge last season to try and win the silver category. Couldn't quite do it, but it was a very good performance anyway. John Berry sticks it to the inside of teammate Matthias Smolny. As they head around the arena section side by side. Oh, and Phil McDougall makes the dive on John Berry. Pushed him out wide off the track. Seb Vettel went off at that part of the track, doing very similar to what John Berry did there. John Berry's got away with it, and he goes for the undercut, heading out of the final corner. Inside for the next corner, he wants it back so he can keep up with Matthias Smolny. Oh, and there's contact between the two. Sideways goes Phil McDougall and off the track. And that might be one for the stewards. Oh, my word. Oh, and that was Josh Downing, who nearly got collected there, and as a result puts himself off the track, and it causes this now massive incident on the second straight. Might that cause a full course yellow? I'm not too sure. But that was Josh Downing who went to avoid Phil McDougall. And that's it. That's going to be championship leader Josh Downing out of this race, and we do have a full course yellow caused by that incident. Oh, and that one is going to go to the stewards. John Berry will have a bit of a question mark over his head now with that incident, maybe. I can't quite remember, but it looked like John Berry had found the inside and they just could not get through the corner side by side. It's a very tricky corner to overtake in, is turn number 1. I'm not into, well, off my memory, I can't quite lay blame to either driver. I probably wouldn't do that anyway, but that's going to be one the stewards are going to have to look at, because a lot of cars were affected just then. Jonas Anderson now puts himself into 3rd place in category, in bronze category. We were just saying at the start of the night, actually, as we get going, we're now into green conditions. We were just saying at the start of the night, Jonas Anderson, some results have eluded him in the last few races, but with a couple of good results he can get his championship back on track. 3rd place here would help that. We're back underway, and these two are 4 seconds clear of championship leader Langford. Could this be a nice battle for top spot in the final 5 minutes of this race? They're inseparable at the moment, but what we've seen time and time again with these guys at the top of the gold category field is they find it, well, I don't say they find it difficult to catch one another, but they probably do, because they are the top of this tier when it comes to this championship. That they're all at maximum pace, and it's so hard to find the little margins on the other drivers ahead of you or around you. And McCain continues to lead in silvers, 3 seconds clear of Smolny, who himself is 3 seconds clear of Matthew Addy, who has a big dive to his inside from Craig Twaldock. Fights it back, does Matthew Addy, and the two shrug each other off, but Matt Addy rejoins, and a flash of the lights here for Twaldock. That's probably to say, I didn't like what you did there, not good move, mate. That still keeps Addy in 3rd place, but it puts him into the clutches of Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, who's 2nd at the moment in bronze. But currently, Papa Constantino, leader of bronze category. Not only is he leading the bronze, he's 10th overall in this race. Considering the bronze category drivers all started, I believe, outside the top 25 in this race, that's some going. Now, Benji McCluskey has dropped off of William Guthrie on this lap. It's now around a 2nd gap. There's still time in this race. Jack Pittas gaining on teammate Adam Wilson-Weir, who he himself, a good start to the night at the moment. A good performance at Aragón last time out as well, was in amongst the top 5 battles there as well. Alwyn Sykes has emerged as top 5 contender in silver right now. Do you wonder if John Berry's struggling a little bit with damage? Maybe it was a big hit against Phil McDougall. The front end of that car might be a little bit mashed. I'm going to try and get a look here. It looks okay, but what you can't see, there might be more going on underneath the car as Alwyn Sykes takes a little bit of a dive to the inside at Mercedes, but not to be. Alwyn Sykes going for 4th place here, and John Berry just trying to keep his race on track, quite literally maybe. Meanwhile, Shmoy Samuel looking at the exhaust of the BMW of Wesley Lewin, going for 4th place. There's going to be 1 lap remaining when we get to the line for these drivers, as they start a final lap. Alan McCain still going quicker, fastest lap in the silvers at the moment, keeping up with Gaz Williams at the moment and just continuing to gap other drivers. I can see why drivers in Discord were saying McCain for gold, or Alan for gold, one or the other, because this has been an exemplar performance from Alan McCain in this race. And I'm not saying that because he's my driver. William Guthrie has lost a little bit of time on that last lap to Benjamin McCluskey. In fact, Benjamin McCluskey set the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. But I think Guthrie's got enough for gap at the moment, provided nothing goes wrong for the remainder of this race, to take home a sprint race win in what will be win number 3 of the season. Yes. Let's round the final few corners. I think it's actually 4th win of the season, because it was a feature race win. It's going to be 2 in a row actually for William Guthrie. He will cross the line now. A 4th win of the season for William Guthrie, and a win tonight here in the sprint race, and takes away fastest lap at the end of that race. Oh, he doesn't, as Harry Langford takes it away on the final moments there. Silver category, however, it's a dominating win for Alan McCain in silver category, hoping to get his championship charge back on track. Matthias Simoni on his return tonight is 2nd position in silver category. Meanwhile, it's not a top 10 finish. It is 12th in the end, but it is a category win for Gabriel Papaconstantino in the bronze category. Matt Addy, 3rd position in silvers, rounds off the podium. Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, his winning streak comes to a little bit of an end there with the double wins he had last time at Aragón. That's 2nd place tonight here at Hockenheim in the sprint race. And Jonas Anderson, 3rd position in bronze category. But a good start tonight for William Guthrie. Carries on his winning ways. And the results for William Guthrie this season have been rather impressive. A 3rd in the opening sprint race of the season. Technically a DNF at Mexico sprint race, but then the sprint race, sorry, the feature race at Mexico, the sprint race at Interlagos, a win, and then a 3rd in the feature race, a win at the Endurance of Road America. Not such a good sprint race at Aragón, 10th position, but a win in the feature race to follow, and a win tonight in this sprint race. He is currently the most winningest driver in gold category. But let's go to a roundup of the results for our opening race of the night at Hockenheim for round 5 of NXTGEN Racing GT3's Season 9. William Guthrie wins tonight by just under a second over Benji McCluskey, who tried to swipe away fastest lap in the final moments there. But William Guthrie got it, and then Harry Langford took it away and will take that bonus point for 3rd place in category in the race. Followed by teammate Adam Wilson-Weir in 4th place, one of his best results ever in the gold category, with Jack Pittas in 5th position. Host of the series, Gaz Williams in 6th position, followed by Jason Raff in 7th, Craig Torgodock in 8th position with George Plaster in 9th. Phil McDougall rounds off the top 10 and did have that incident earlier on, remember, that caused a full course yellow. Archie Bennett 11th, followed by Kieran Davidson, David Price in 13th, from Gavin Gardner in 14th. Stefan Vessels, we're going to check on the replay for him very shortly. Rounds off the top 15, the point scorers. Meanwhile, a lap down was Jesse Payne-Wilkins. I think with that result, he's still eligible for reverse grid, but Ben Outria will not be in 17th there. That's gold category. Now onto the silver category drivers. A dominating win for Alan McCain. 5.5 seconds, pretty much 5.6 seconds clear of Matthias Smolny, who returns to the series tonight. Matthew Addy third. Rounds off the podium from John Berry. Bit of a question mark with that incident earlier on. I'm sure he checked the replay after this race. And there'll be a discussion in the steward's room between him and Phil McDougall and the clerk of the course on that incident. But we'll see what happens to that later on in the week. Elwyn Sykes, 5th position, just behind John Berry, rounding off the top 5, with Paul Williams in 6th position, just ahead of teammate Mark Baker. Quentin Klumper in 8th position, followed by Jeffrey Kruger in 9th. Zara McGuinness rounds off the top 10 in silvers. Stein Vatens 11th, followed by Nigel Stock, and Sean Shute in 13th position. Wojciech Kurt rounds off the lead lap finishers, and then a lap down was Andrew Allen in 15th. He'll still be eligible for reverse grid, I believe, with that result, but Damon Shales will not be, as I don't think he started the race. Bronze category now, and it's Gabriel Papaconstantino who takes home another win in this series. 2.6 seconds clear of Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, who he is ahead of teammate at Gastet Motorsports Jonas Anderson in 3rd, back on the podium. Wesley Lewin, 4th position, followed by Chamoy Samuel in 5th. Stephen de Grevelia will finish 6th, ahead of compatriot Kurt Van Hoenigen in 7th. The two home competing drivers for tonight, Jochen Seeger in 8th and Mike Riedner in 9th. Andy Rooney rounds off the top 10 in bronze category, with Matt Gadd just behind in 11th. Davide Favo is last of the lead lap finishers in 12th, and a lap down due to that incident we saw a few laps ago, Josh Downing in 13th, but might still be eligible for reverse grid and has a big opportunity for a win in the next race if he indeed gets that reverse grid. Okay, so we are going to look at some incidents. We are going to look at 3. We're going to look at the start of the race, see what happened that caused the FCY. We are going to look at the Stefan Vessels incident, and we are going to look at the following incident, which was the Phil McDougall and John Berry incident again. We just want to get more of a look at those ones. Right, so we have to look at... I go here in the field because I've got a feeling it might have started from this point in the field. Let's see if anything happens here. If not, we'll look at something else. Oh, contact there. That was Phil McDougall on the inside, and we are watching Kieran Davidson actually. Let's see if anything happens here. No incident here. Whoa, there's a car off in the middle there. That's one of the full tilt cars. And there we go, there's our instance. So it has started a little bit further up. That was Jesse Payne-Wilkins, who was facing the wrong way on the track there. So let's see what's happened to Jesse Payne-Wilkins. Alongside Type 2 car, goes sideways himself, loses it with cold tyres. And there's another car spinning there. It's a gassed up car. And then it just collects others from that. I'm trying to work out who that Type 2 car was. I wonder if it was Stein Vatens. Or if Stein Vatens was avoiding the incident. Oh, yeah. My word. Okay. We are going to move on from that. But that's what, just a lot of incidents going into one section of the track just caused that incident then. We are going to move on to the Stefan Vessels incident. See what happened there. He might have just lost it himself, but we'll see. We'll find out. Just trying to find it amongst these events. But yeah, quite a shame that's happened to a lot of drivers so early on in the night as well. Right, so this is Stefan Vessels. He's already in the wall there, so we might want to try going back a bit further. Okay, a bit bobbly heading out the final corner there. See what happens going into turn number 1. On the curb. I got a feeling Stefan Vessels broke later than he perhaps meant to. I might be wrong about that. This is another view of it. Oh, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute. Let's just go on board. Car just stepped sideways under braking into the corner. I don't think Stefan Vessels did brake too late. Let's just get another shot of it. Might have been a tiny touch to grass on the outside wheel there. But either way, he won't want to look at that again, so we shan't torture him anymore with looking at that. But that is a big game over moment for Vessels, and I believe he carried on, so he'll have an opportunity in race 2 to get to the front of the grid earlier with starting further up. But he'll lose points tonight regardless anyway. Okay, so let's move on to the Phil McDougall and John Berry incident. So here we go side by side. We're going to go slow-mo for this one. John Berry's on the inside there. And as they get into the corner, Phil McDougall leaves a little bit of room, but on the sausage curb, there goes John Berry, and I think it bumps him out into Phil McDougall. I think it does, anyway. And that's it. That's what shifts Phil McDougall sideways. Let's just get another shot. If you were John Berry, you probably feel that Phil McDougall should have given you more room there. That's what you would feel if you were on the inside there. Well, that's what most drivers would say in that situation anyway. Perhaps me included. But there we go. It was a hit of the curb that sent John Berry out into the sideways car of Phil McDougall. And, oh, actually, what we're going to do is just go to Josh Downing. This is his view of it. And that's a, well, not an impressive rejoin. Oh, and not an impressive rejoin likewise there. So that's something that perhaps the drivers need to make note of, is the rejoins. Once you're in an incident, don't roll it onto the track. It's easier said than done, I realise that, but that'll be part of the rules that NXTGEN will expect you to follow. But that's ruined a lot of people's races, as some of the incidents we've seen there, and they'll be looking to regain their nights tonight. Later on in the feature race, which we have got very, very shortly. We're going to go for a quick break. It is going to be a quick break because we don't have to wait for any servers to be booted up or anything like that. We're going to go straight to the feature race with a small break. And when we come back, it will be that sprint race, which is 1 hour in length. It will feature a pit stop. One scheduled pit stop anyway from all of the drivers. So let's see what happens. And it will be a reverse grid in each category within groups as well for that final race of the night. So don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back very, very shortly with the second race of the night here at Hockenheim.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
See, not very quick at all. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to NXTGEN Racing Season 9, Round 5 here from Hockenheim. My name's Alex Everett, your commentator tonight. And let's give a bit of a shout out to NXTGEN Racing for putting on this league, first of all, and its partner sponsors and affiliates that include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, and Falcon and PC. This is Season 9. I started commentating this in Season 5. So 5th season involved, and 9th season NXTGEN have been hosting this, and it just gets more and more popular and better every single season. If you want to get involved in this championship, there's always spaces available. There is a bit of a reserves list at the moment that is a bit of a first come first serve to get into the races, but if you want to scan that QR code, you can get involved in the NXTGEN Discord server. If you're not able to scan that QR code, there is a link in the description of this video if you are watching on Facebook and YouTube. That will give you access to NXTGEN's Discord server. From there you'll meet drivers, you'll meet the admins, and you'll see everything going on with NXTGEN Racing. There are other leagues as well as this Thursday night. Today's broadcast on Sunday, of course, but racing on Thursday night. There's this GT3 Championship, but there is also the NXTCC hosted on Tuesday nights. Here at NXTGEN Racing, there is also currently live at the moment a GR86 Toyota League. But there is plenty more to come from NXTGEN Racing with future seasons. So tonight is round 5 of the championship here at the Hockenheimring Baden-Württemberg circuit, as it's referred to nowadays. And we started off over a month ago, at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez Mexico City Grand Prix circuit for round 1 of the championship, one of the more recent tracks released on iRacing. And of course, we've got Bahrain coming soon to our iRacing, as well as another track that I can't quite remember. Let me know in the chat. Interlagos was round 2 of the championship, also known as the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache circuit. Round 3 was the first of 3 endurance rounds of the championship, and that was hosted at the Road America circuit. And round 4 was only last week, and that was hosted at the Motorland Aragón circuit. Today, we'll see out the first half of the season upon the conclusion of the next race here at the Hockenheimring. But the next round of the championship will be on Thursday coming up next, on the 30th of April 2026. That'll be the Nürburgring Gesamtstrecke VLN circuit, also known as the Nordschleife. That'll host the 6th round of the championship, and it will be a 2-hour endurance next week. Silverstone will host round 7 of the championship, followed by Monza at round 8. Round 9 will be hosted at the Mosport circuit, also known as Canadian Tire, and Spa will host the final round of the championship, the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in East Belgium. A 2-hour endurance to end the championship and crown our champions. So our race winners from race 1 of the night: in gold category was William Guthrie, in silver category was Alan McCain, and in bronze category was Gabriele Papaconstantino. Let's see what happens in this next race, as we're in 1 second about to switch over to the final race of the night, the feature race. It will be a 60-minute race. There will be a scheduled pit stop, at least one scheduled pit stop, and as the skies are blue, it is going to be a one-stop race. So let's find out what happens in this final race of the night. So our grid will look like this. Stefan Vessels, who did have the hit against the wall in turn 1 in the previous race from 3rd place in that race, will start on pole position. So a nice head start in this race. Gavin Gardner, 2nd position alongside him, with David Price starting 3rd position. Kieran Davidson will start 4th, with Archie Bennett in 5th. Phil McDougall, who's involved in a key incident in the previous race, will start 6th. George Plaster, 7th from Craig Tordock in 8th. Jason Raff in 9th, followed by the host of the series, Gaz Williams. A Type 2 row 6, Jack Pittas and Adam Wilson-Weir will start 11th and 12th respectively. Harry Langford, our championship leader, heading into tonight, will start 13th from Benji McCluskey in 14th. And starting on the back row will be the race 1 winner, William Guthrie, due to reverse grid, and Ben Outry, who did not complete enough laps in that previous race. Whereas in the silver category, Wojciech Kurp, a former race winner in the series, in the silver category, will start on pole position here, with Sean Shute in second position. Nigel Stock third from Stein Vatens in fourth, with Zara McGuinness and Jeffrey Kruger starting on the third row of the silver category. Quinton Klumper in seventh, with Mark Baker in eighth. Teammate of Mark Baker, Paul Williams, start on the next row in ninth, with Elwyn Sykes starting 10th. John Berry, championship leader heading into tonight, will be 11th from Matt Addy in 12th position. Followed by the top two in the previous race, who will start in the back row of the silver category, Matthew Smolny and Alan McCain. And Andrew Allen at the back of the silver category grid. Josh Downing, who leads the championship coming into tonight, did have that incident in the previous race. He'll start pole position for the bronze category, with Davide Favo starting in second position. Matt Gatter third from Andy Rooney in fourth position, with Mike Reedner fifth and Jochen Seeger in sixth position. Kurt Van Honecker will be seventh, with Stephen de Gravelia in eighth position. Chamoy Samuel will start ninth, followed by Wesley Lewin alongside on that fifth row. Adrian Ruiz Hernandez will start 11th, with Gabriel Papaconstantino, the previous race winner, will start 12th at the back of the bronze category grid. This is the feature race of round 5 here at Hockenheim for the Next Gen Racing GT3 Season 9. It is a 60-minute race, as we mentioned. We've been through the grid. It's reversed sprint race results, but it's grouped into the categories. And we're about to get going. The gold category will move off first, and each category will start around about 10 seconds apart from one another. And Stefan Vessels leads us off the line. So the key ones to look out for are the top three in the championship, Langford, Guthrie and McCluskey. Who can get through the pack quickest of them, that bunch? Normally, it's William Guthrie who gets through, I mean with this a pinch of salt, more aggressively than Langford and McCluskey normally would. But anything can happen here at Hockenheim. It's a very narrow circuit on the latter part of the lap, but very wide on another half of the lap. So the opportunities vary. The opportunities vary in risk as well. We saw a lot of moves in race 1 that were teetering on the edge of very risky. And we just see they're warming up their tyres. They're not able to weed the cars that much on this part of the circuit because it is quite narrow here in the stadium section. And I'm glad they never have stretched the width of the circuit in the stadium section, because it actually is quite nice. Have a nice narrow section there. It widens out a little bit here, as you can see here. And as they're about to get ready to start this race, it will be Stefan Vessels who will lead us to the line, with Gavin Gardner alongside. And as we come to the line, as soon as the lights go out, we're going to get underway for the feature race. Up into turn 1 we go. Stefan Vessels leads us through, but alongside still is Gavin Gardner, who powers it round the outside. And I think Gavin Gardner has got it in front. Yes, he has. Brilliant start to the race for Gardner of Next Gen Racing. Into turn number 1 we go. Let's take a little bit further back. Oh, they're squabbling into turn 1. And that's spin for Gaz Williams by the looks of it. And he's going to drop out of all the contention. Meanwhile, silver category, they're off and away. But I think there's a driver off in the background. But it's a good start to the race for Wojciech Kurp. Meanwhile, towards the back, I think, yeah, Matt Morgan got caught up in an incident. Meanwhile, in the bronze category, off and away goes Josh Downing, who is behind another driver. Can't quite work out who that is, actually. From the standings, they've messed up a little bit. Oh, it's a spin from whoever that driver was. Off the track they go, but that'll be lead resumed by Josh Downing. And we are already to a full course yellow. I think something happened in the gold category as well. Or did it actually? You know, I think something actually happened in the silver category. There's a lot of incidents that have come up on the screen, but by the looks of it, they're all relatively clean at the moment. And they're all bunched up together, so as soon as this goes back to green, they're going to be on it. And they've got to be careful. We saw a lot of penalties last week for people not slowing down in time for four-course yellows and putting down the throttle too early at the end of four-course yellows. They are receiving instructions from live race stewards as to when they can go. We are just waiting for the track to clean up a little bit, and then we'll get racing again. But a great start to the race for Gavin Gardner at the moment. Just teasing going into the pits there, as a lot of drivers do like to pit during the four-course yellows to get a nice cheap pit stop. But at this point in the race, it won't quite work. They won't have enough fuel in the tank to get to the end. Now, they've completed the lap, but this lap has been completed under caution. Gavin Gardner is just driving off the racing line here. I wonder what he's trying to do with that. Maybe there's rubber on the side of the road that he's trying to make other drivers collect. Actually, in the silver category, leader Wojciech Kurp has gone into the pits already. I'm not sure if that's due to a penalty or anything like that. It might have been. Can't see anything on the screen for Wojciech Kurp, but Sean Shute, as it goes green, assumes the lead of the silver category. Meanwhile, our culprits in gold category. Langford has dropped a little bit of time, actually, from William Guthrie and Benji McCluskey. So they might have been caught up in some sort of an incident, as we're seeing Adam Wilson-Meyer on the inside of George Plaster. That was, and he then gets a rebound overtake on Jack Pittas, potentially heading out of the corner. He's got the inside for the next corner, but I think Pittas might have this covered, you know. As we see a swap for the top spot, Stefan Wessels gets back ahead of Gavin Gardner and resumes the lead of the race, while Archie Bennett is trying to get alongside. He did have a good exit from the previous corner on Gavin Gardner. Oh, somehow they've made it through that corner side by side. And joining in the battle is Craig Tordorf, but Gavin Gardner hangs on to it. How on earth those two got through that corner side by side is beyond me. But two gassed-up motorsport cars are gassed to get by Gavin Gardner at the moment. And a big move to the inside from Archie Bennett. Gavin Gardner still provides room, but daring moves from the gassed-up drivers there. Gavin Gardner still somehow hangs on to second place, but that allows Stefan Wessels to stretch away a little bit at this point. And the two gassed-up cars are now side by side as they head out of turn number one. Craig Tordorf ahead. Bennett has not got the better line, but he might be able to power it around the outside here, you know. As he stays slightly alongside. Meanwhile, back here, Adam Wilson-Weir really is on the move. He's taking Benji McCluskey with him, and that's a spin from David Price and into the wall. Race over for the Welshman. Well, not race over. The bumper has magically put itself back together. But that is going to be damage to the car and a lot of positions lost. Meanwhile, in the silver category, Nigel Stock leads this race from Jeffrey Kruger, a multiple silver category race winner. So is Nigel Stock, to be fair. But Jeffrey Kruger has a lot of race wins in silver category to his name. Guarding the inside slightly is Nigel Stock, but attempting an undercut here in the Mustang is going to be Jeffrey Kruger. Not enough to get alongside out of the corner. Excuse me. Alan McCain, 8th place. Right now in silvers, is ahead of second place in the previous race, Matthew Smolny. Meanwhile, bronze category. Josh Downing was looking quick in the previous race, but an incident caught him out. Sent him down the order. This might be a nice, easy win if he can keep this up and not get interrupted by any incidents. Hang on a minute. We do have to switch to do we? Well, there was contact between John Berry and Wojciech Kurp. They're a long way down the order. They're behind all the bronze category drivers, so something's happened to them too, as they battle it out in the Mercedes arena. But John Berry's lost a lot of places here. That's not good for his championship, but he's got a long race ahead of him to try and get it back. But as we were saying about bronze category, Josh Downing leads this race. Matt Gatt is in second place, and Stephen de Grevelier is in third place. We started this race for Nigel Stock. He'll try and hold up this pack as much as he can to help out teammate Alan McCain. He's back here in 6th in category at the moment. Fast lap of the race for bronze category leader Josh Downing. This is the time for him to get in some really, really good laps. Open up a lead to the rest of the bronze category. He's actually got some silver category drivers ahead to help tow him along as well. That'll help. Josh Downing, due to that result in the previous race, really needs a good result in this one to keep the championship points going for him. Move there from Matthias Simoni on Elwyn Sykes. Went too deep and nearly took out Alan McCain while he was at it, but just about avoided it. But we'll go back into third place behind Elwyn Sykes with that very ambitious overtaking the hairpin. Would have worked if he got the braking point right, but we'll have to try again at another lap. Meanwhile, Nigel Stock and Jeffrey Kruger very close together, and they're actually being met behind there by Zara McGuinness, who's looking to join in this battle for top spots. Jeffrey Kruger knows how to win races in this series, particularly in silver category. He's a previous bronze category champion, so is Nigel Stock though. Kruger, who I had down at the start of the season as the favourite to win silver category, it's not quite going that way at the moment. He's quite a few points down heading into tonight, but a good result tonight might help things in silvers for him. And when drop rounds come into play as well, that might help as well. Flashing lights there from Jason Raff, trying to get by Quinton Clumpert. Quinton Clumpert, since coming into the series, has had a lot of good results actually. Hasn't had any wins yet in silver category, but is always lurking around the podium places. So look out for Quinton in races to come. Let's head back to gold category. Benjamin McCluskey is 9th, William Guthrie behind in 10th. They're just trying to pick away at the positions one at a time, but Adam Wilson-Weir just ahead as well. Stefan Vessel's at the front of 1.5 second lead at the moment. They're stretched away from Gavin Gardner, who's not giving up, and has actually gapped Craig Twardock a little bit, so he's not under any immediate threat there. Meanwhile, side by side between Jeffrey Kruger and Nigel Stock heading out of the Mercedes corner. I think Kruger might have got to the outside at that corner, but now has the inside as they enter the stadium section. New race leader in the silver category, it's Jeffrey Kruger. Into the stadium section, big dive there from Jason Raff, is in gold category, to be fair, on Zara McGuinness there for that overall position. But Jason Raff is trying to get back some places to regain a race in gold category. But Nigel Stock, can he respond? He's actually dropped off a little bit of time already to Jeffrey Kruger. But Alan McCain will be looking ahead. 6th place right now. He's got Paul Williams ahead. Let's see what Alan McCain can do from this position. Was outright quickest in the previous race. Side by side between Smolny and Elwyn Sykes again, and actually joining in on that is Sean Shute. And there's contact between all three of them now. Sideways goes Smolny, and a lot of bodywork missing. Sykes and Shute carry on. But no, there's too much damage on Smolny's car. He can't keep hold of it. I would go to the replay to look at that, but it just looked like that the two came together as soon as it went to 3 wide. Realistically, on that Parabolica, they should be able to get round there 3 wide. But somehow they hadn't. But that's going to be a lot of hard work, and sprint race undone now for Smolny. Oh, as he made contact with, I think that was Matt Gatter, and all the bronze category drivers bunch up as a result. And that's Stephen de Gravelia letting Smolny know, well, you've done the naughty there. But that puts Stephen de Gravelia into 2nd place. Matt Gatter, he's now about to drop to 4th potentially. Kurt Van Hoenicker can't keep that going though. He has to drop back behind Matt Gatter. They concertina up a little bit as Shamoy Samuel is on the back of this pack as well. So is Seeger, and so is race 1 winner Papa Constantino, who makes the move on Seeger going into the stadium section. Up into 6th he goes. So Stephen de Gravelia definitely advantaged to most from Smolny, who now nips into the pits rather late. Oh, on a spin there for Kurt Van Hoenicker, heading around the penultimate corner of the circuit. That's a lot of time lost for Kurt Van Hoenicker. And might he take a cheeky pit stop here? Yeah, he might as well at this point. He might be a bit tight on fuel at this point, but it's a good decision to do that given the situation he was in. That puts Matt Gatter back into third place. He could try back at Stephen de Grevelier for second place potentially. Silver category here. Jason Raff is in that. He's in gold category. But Nigel Stock is not letting Kruger get away just yet. "12 minutes down in this race so far. We are seeing some early stops already. We did see an early stop in silver category from Wojciech Kerp. And that was under VSC, as some would refer to it, or FCY as we're referring to it as in this series. So there's a couple of drivers already on alternate strategies we've got to keep an eye on later on. Fast lap of the race for Stefan Vessels. Meanwhile, our top two from race 1. Oh, there's a spin up ahead. That's Kieran Davidson. Oh, and somehow everyone's avoided him. But that was a good position. Lost for Kieran Davidson. That does promote a few drivers at one place. We were just about to talk about McCluskey and Guthrie. They're at one place each as a result of that. They're now 8th and 9th. Now what McCluskey does, he picks each driver off one at a time as time goes by in the race. He takes his time. He does not rush it. He normally leaves the final overtakes of the race to the end of the race. He makes this a marathon rather than a sprint to the front early on. Whereas someone who likes to get to the front as quick as they can is William Guthrie normally. Not tonight at the moment. It hasn't quite worked out. It's actually a track that, when it comes to first lap, it's blitz to the front, let's just say. It's harder to do that at Hockenheim. It's harder to do that because the track is so wide that realistically you might think, oh yeah, there's more opportunity to overtake. Well, no, actually it means there's more opportunity to defend when you've got a wide track like this, and when you've got narrow sections like this, it's harder to overtake. I think we had an incident just then from Stephen de Grevelier. He might have slipped sideways, going through the hairpin. As right on his rear now is Matt Gatter and Shamoy Samuel, who actually drops off a little bit. There's bodywork missing from Shamoy Samuel. Might have hit the rear end of Stephen de Grevelier. Maybe that's what caused it. But now Papa Constantino's through into 4th place. And the way things are going for Matt Gatter and Stephen de Grevelier, who had one or two incidents in the last lap, Papa Constantino might be able to get through and into 2nd place sooner rather than later. You know what? Papa Constantino is a driver I would like to see in silver category soon, especially next season, as I think he's got the ability for it, you know. But he's been in bronze category for many seasons now, and this could be the season where he finally gets his championship in bronze category. Let's see if he can get it this season. He's got Josh Downing to worry about, who is a long way clear at the front, 7 seconds clear in bronze category. Just needs to bring it home here. Was in a good place in the previous race, but that got undone. As we see Wesley Lewin go for a move on Shamoy Samuel, who's missing his front end. But you're able to defend around the outside of that corner. That's what I mean about the wide circuit here at Hockenheim, especially on that turn too. It's easy to defend on that corner by going around the outside, and that's what Samuel did then. Now I must say, oh, as wide there goes Gatter, and now he slips behind Papa Constantino, who's now in the top 3 in this race already. Only 15 minutes in. Gatter might try and respond. Oh, and he does. Puts it straight back to the inside. Ferrari versus Lamborghini, the Battle of Italy. Well, Monza's later in the season, guys. Still side by side. Good racing room provided by both them. And back into 3rd place goes Matt Gatter. Brilliant response from Matt, who I must be honest, since joining the series, who really wasn't anywhere in the bronze category at that point, was last after last after last in bronze category, has come on leaps and bounds since that debut a few seasons ago, and he's now contending for the top 3 with Papa Constantino right now. This battling might allow Stephen de Grevelier to stretch away at the front. Meanwhile, on the move is Adam Wilson-Weir. has got past Jack Pittas. What a night Adam Wilson-Weir is having. Back into the top 5 again. No moves yet from McCluskey, but William Guthrie all over the back of McCluskey. So they've got Jack Pittas ahead of them. Silver category, 2-second lead for Jeffrey Kruger. A bit more comfortable at this point. There's Nigel Stock back here in second. He's got a little bit of a gap to Zara McGuinness, who she is battling with Quinton Klumpert, and race 1 winner Alan McCain right now, who's in 5th on the charge from the back of the grid at the start of this race. Alan McCain did think about a move there, but thought wisely of it. It's not an ideal place to overtake, is the Satch's hairpin. Oh, Gabriel Papaconstantino is a long way down here. And Wesley Lewin is off the track as well, so something's happened to Papaconstantino there. He's dropped well out of the order. And so has Matt Gatter. Oh, all right. I wasn't going to do this, but we're going to do it. This is heading into the Mercedes arena. This is a replay. Oh, contact between the two. Going through the kink. Oh, and collect Wesley Lewin while they're at it. But Matt Gatter got away with iRacing allowing back his rear wing there. So that has really shaken up things. In the bronze category, Shamoy Samuel is now into 3rd place with a missing front bumper still. Gabriel Papaconstantino might have gotten away with that a little bit. He's in 5th, not too far behind 2nd place still. Stephen de Gravellier has got 10 seconds to claw back, but he's certainly not out of the picture. But Matt Gatter, that is gone now. That opportunity for a top 3 is even further down than Papaconstantino is. And goes into the pits following that. Might have some damage and will want to repair it quickly. Shamoy Samuel's also in the pits right now. Now, Shamoy Samuel has damage on the front end, and there appears to be a missing rear wing as well. That might be new, actually, because I'm pretty sure it was on there. But a fast repair will help out Shamoy here, so will Matt Gatter. And they'll be able to rejoin the race, get some quick laps in, and maybe an undercut. But they are at risk of having to save some fuel later in the race if they can't refuel enough. Stephen de Gravellier well in control of 2nd place now in bronze category, and seeing all of this happen behind. Well, not seeing it all happen, it's just a long way clear. Racing his own race in 1st place, Josh Downing of bronze category. Gavin Gardner's having a good race as well, dropping back from Stefan Vessels, but holding on to 2nd place right now with Craig Tordock right behind here. We've got Archie Bennett good few seconds back and is being approached by Adam Wilson-Weir and co being teammate Jack Pittas, defending champion Benji McCluskey, and actually William Guthrie is back here in 15th, a long way down. I think has taken an early stop, so hoping to get the undercut at this point is William Guthrie. Has a clear track around him. So this is the opportunity to get some big laps in and get the undercut on his rivals. These are the tactics we now see more often here at Next Gen, with the change in tyre physics. Things like FCYs in this championship as well do make things a little bit different now, as Alan McCain had a big slip up heading out of the hairpin there, but still able to challenge on Quinton Klumpert ahead. Meanwhile, Zara McGuinness real close to Nigel Stock. Oh, that was close. All of them somehow avoided the stricken car on the side there. Zara McGuinness was very close there, but well avoided the car then, stranded on the outside. I'm not entirely sure who that was, in fact. But they got away with it. Oh, sideways goes Quinton Klumpert. I think there was contact between him and Alan McCain, and that's going to drop Quinton Klumpert down a few positions. Same with Elwyn Sykes, who got caught up in... No, it wasn't Elwyn Sykes, it was Sean Shute, excuse me, who got caught up in that as well. But Quinton Klumper, who was battling for the top 3, there was a bit of contact between him and Alan McCain, I think, anyway. But Alan McCain is going to carry on. Has a clear track around and can get the lap times in and focus on getting back up to that top 3. But a bit of a question mark over that instant, potentially. And one for the stewards after. Meanwhile, Archie Bennett, 4th place, defending from Adam Wilson-Weir now. And Benji McCluskey, who is now past Jack Pittas, is looking for the top 5 already in this race. That's Wojciech Kurp coasting on the outside, just getting out of the way of these gold category drivers. Well, the majority of them anyway. Benji McCluskey, 2nd place in the previous race, currently ahead of William Guthrie on the road. But Benji McCluskey will know that William Guthrie is going to get the quick laps in. So McCluskey, I think, has been alerted here to try and get by these drivers and not be held up too much for too much longer. Still adamant not to go in the pits. Sometimes in these GT3 races, better to go as far as you can go on a tank of fuel. But you still can't be held up by other drivers slowing you down. Let's see what McCluskey can do. Oh, I was going for the move on Adam Wilson-Weir, who quick to defend that. But around the outside will go Benji McCluskey. Might have the inside for the next corner. Yes. Adam Wilson-Weir's gone a little bit wide heading out of that corner then. But Wilson-Weir will have the inside for the hairpin here. Helped out a little bit by Jack Pittas, maybe. Oh, don't know. Jack Pittas has shoved it in the middle there. Powering around the outside goes McCluskey. Can he keep the outside as we head to the next set of corners? If he can keep it to the outside, no, he can't. I was going to say if he can keep it to the outside, he'd have the inside for the Mercedes corner, but he can't. Not to be on this lap, but maybe another. Back into the Mercedes arena. Fantastic camera angle then. Not very often the default camera shots are that good. Wide a little bit then goes Wilson-Weir. Benji McCluskey, you know what, might say he'll take an early stop if he's held up too much longer. Nope, continues on. This is a good battle between McCluskey and Wilson-Weir. We'll come back to this battle very shortly. Still very close for 2nd place. Now just got a little bit of a gap to Sarah McInnes, who's got another Crest Autosport driver behind Alan McCain. Alan McCain, if he can get this on the podium, it would be a good point score for Crest Autosport as it would stand. And fastest lap of the race to go with it as well. And it would be a big haul of points in the championship as well from tonight if Alan McCain can get it onto the podium. Constantino is back into podium positions despite the incident that happened earlier. I think a couple of drivers in bronze category have taken to the pits. But Pavel Constantino can get his head down, focus on some big laps now. Meanwhile, the winner on his race, out on his billy, is Stefan Wessels. A 3-second lead at the moment in gold category. And Stefan Wessels, what an unlucky season he's having so far. Plagued by a couple of his own mistakes, but just things that have gone out of favour for him as well along the way. He'll put the race 1-1 down to his own mistake potentially. But this is a big opportunity to get some points back on the board for himself. Now, Benji McCluskey is in the pits. Has called time on sitting behind Adam Wilson-Weir, has come into the pits. He might be worried about William Guthrie's position, who he is heading into the stadium section now. Also in the pits in gold category is Jack Pittas, just ahead of Benji McCluskey there. Comes William Guthrie. I think he's going to take the position from Benji McCluskey. No, he's heading out to pit exit now. Oh, this is going to be close. Benji McCluskey will still have to warm up the tyres. Here goes Guthrie, and there is McCluskey heading towards turn 2. Now, McCluskey is ahead, but has to warm up the tyres. Guthrie has got warm tyres and will be rocketing behind McCluskey now. Let's keep an eye on this for now. As Alan McCain has made the move for 3rd place. And I think it was into the hairpin on Zara McGuinness. That's for the podium. Jeffrey Kruger is well in control of the race in silver category with a 6.5 second lead to Nigel Stock. Always wide there is one of the CSA cars. That won't help out William Guthrie. I think that was Davide Favo. As in the pits, his race leader Stefan Vessels. William Guthrie, clearly not happy. Takes a dive to the CSA driver, and the CSA driver has to do nothing but go to the outside to avoid. William Guthrie is hungry to catch up with McCluskey. He's still going to be warming up his tyres at this point. To be fair, it's not quite as long as the qualifying sessions to warm up the tyres, or at the start of the race, should we say. But McCluskey might actually be up to temperature now. Meanwhile, silver category. Jeffrey Kruger, race leader, is in the pits. Alan McCain has carried on. He's going to get some laps in additional. Normally the drivers will pit around 30 minutes to 35 minutes. There's a lot of drivers pitting earlier tonight. Josh Downing carries on, leader of the bronze category, but 2nd place in bronze category. Stevie De Gravelio is in the pits with Papa Constantino carrying on, and will take the lead of 2nd place, not net position, but will stay out there and get a few more laps in. Stefan Vessels has rejoined this race. He's got a few drivers that need to come into the pits for him to rejoin the lead of this race. Gavin Gardner decides to carry on, but now will come into the pits. So will closest rival Tordock. You're always nervous if you pit early in these races, because if a FCY is called at any point here, it means that the drivers in the pits right now who are going into the pits during that FCY have a lot of time saved. That's what they're going to be nervous about. McCain carries on and will hold on to the lead of this race, but Gavin Gardner in the pits here. And Stefan Vessels coming around the final corner now. Let's see what happens to Gavin Gardner and Steph Vessels. I assume Vessels will resume the lead. There he goes, back into the lead of the race. But Gavin Gardner rejoins, and actually Craig Tordock has got the jump on both of them and has taken the lead of the race. Has to warm up tyres still from Stefan Vessels, but they got a whole long straight here where the tyres do not need warming up. Well, has he put enough fuel in the car is my first reaction. Tordock takes the lead of this race. Not only gets the jump on Gavin Gardner, but gets the jump on Stefan Vessels as well. Well, we will see if that is a stroke of genius from Craig Tordock. We won't really know until the end of the race. Oh, as Stefan Vessels gets a better line through the hairpin. Still the tyres trying to warm up for Tordock there. Meanwhile, in bronze category, Josh Downing is on pit exit, rejoins the race in the lead still. Papa Constantino rejoins the track, and I think that's going to be ahead of Stevie De Gravelio by the looks of it. Yes, it is. So Papa Constantino has got the overcut for 2nd place at the moment. Stevie De Gravelio's closed in, but probably not close enough to challenge a move on Papa Constantino, who by the end of this lap anyway, tyres will be back warmed up. So the only driver that hadn't pitted to that point was Alan McCain, and he's now in the pits. But Craig Tordock will lead the gold category. Alan McCain in the pits. And there's Jeffrey Kruger heading around the final few corners now. Actually, Nigel Stock. Something's happened to Nigel Stock here. He's dropped a lot of places. Nigel Stock is down in 10th now. So something severe has happened to Nigel somewhere along the line. And here goes Alan McCain. Kruger is passed by. There's Zara McGuinness. I think Alan McCain is going to rejoin well ahead of Zara McGuinness. There we go. That's all right for Alan McCain. Can now get head down and focus on trying to catch up with Jeffrey Kruger, which is going to be a very tall order. But we'll see what will happen for the remaining half an hour of this race. Meanwhile, front of the gold category, a big shake-up in Craig Tordock leading this race now. And it is close between these three, Tordock, Vessels and Gavin Gardner. Three names who together you would not have on your bingo card to be battling for the race win tonight. But they are, and this looks like it's going to be amazing. So hopefully it is. Arena section. Haven't seen many overtakes going into the hairpin. I think we've seen one or two tonight, but that's it. Meanwhile, championship leaders, McCluskey is in 4th, still ahead of Guthrie, and Langford has really pulled up to the back. I think he had an early stop, but he's right on the rear of Guthrie and McCluskey, which is certainly going to help him in the championship in not losing too many points to his rivals up ahead. This could be a good battle between these three for the remainder of this race. We haven't seen them this close really for a while. Tordock actually gaps Vessels a little bit just then, and Gavin Gardner getting closer and closer to Stefan Vessels. One of these three drivers could easily win this race here. Well, not so much easily could, but one of these three drivers has the opportunity here. Meanwhile, William Guthrie has made a move on Benji McCluskey in the hairpin. And the flash of lights there from Langford to say, yeah, I'm watching you guys. Guthrie has made it through into 4th place, but McCluskey's going to try and respond. Can't quite do it. That's a big move from Guthrie when it comes to championship points anyway. And these two are really not that far apart when it comes to points in the championship. Meanwhile, side by side between Vessels and Tordock, a big move in the final corner from Vessels. But Tordock's responding. We saw McDougall and John Berry go through this corner side by side, and these two couldn't do it either. Somehow Vessels carries on, but he's dropped a place to Gavin Gardner, and Tordock has dropped even more places. He's behind the top 5 now, down to 7th. Oh, turn 1 delivers yet again, and now that leaves Gavin Gardner out on his own, 4 seconds in the lead. He's now in control of this race with 25 minutes to go. And you know what? I'm just trying to pluck my memory here. I don't think I've seen Gavin Gardner win a race in this series as long as I've been commentating. So could this be a gold victory on the cards for Gavin Gardner? But Stefan Vessels and Craig Tordock probably spitting feathers in their sim racing cockpits right now at one another. There's Stefan Vessels sideways heading out the Mercedes arena, probably hammering it down to try and get back that gap. He's now leaked to Gavin Gardner, and he's also got not too far behind these three charging at him, Guthrie, McCluskey and Langford, who their opportunity for a top 2 even has been blown wide open for them. Let's monitor the times on the timing tower. 37.5. It's not giving me a representative time from Stefan Vessels, but William Guthrie on that last lap is at 36.7, nearly a second quicker than Gavin Gardner. But now Gardner's not in a battle and is out on his own. He can try and get in some big, quick laps here. But if Guthrie catches up with Stefan Vessels, who he himself has gapped Benji McCluskey, Guthrie battling Vessels will help Gavin Gardner. Oh, the drama just continues to come here in this series. Not much going on in silver category at the moment. Definitely not much going on in bronze category. They're all divvied up a little bit, but it's still your leaders, outright winners at the moment. Jeffrey Kruger in silver and Josh Downing in bronze. And the race 1 winners of silver and bronze are both in second place right now. Charging down the leaders as William Guthrie bounces across the curb. All those drivers just went far outside the track limits, bumping across the curb, just trying to get the better of each other. It's been a while since we've seen these 4 together on the track. Vessels, Guthrie, McCluskey and Langford. The Fab 4. Which one's Ringo and which one's George? That's the question. Guthrie is pulling away from McCluskey. He's doing it rather well to try and catch up with Vessels. It's what I said a lap ago. His opportunity for second is blown wide open. And he's just seeing that. And he's trying to grab it straight away. Andy Rooney pulls to the side to let by these drivers. The hairpin. Guthrie pulls right up to the rear of Vessels, who understeers a little bit off of the hairpin. That's a bad exit from Steph Vessels, and William Guthrie had to avoid him. Steph Vessels has let by William Guthrie here. What is going on with Steph Vessels? He's pulled to the side again. That's McCluskey past him, and that's Langford past him as well. What on earth is going on? And there we go, a cheeky flash of the lights there from McCluskey to just sort of say, whoa, there's a bit of a dive there from Rooney, and that puts Vessels off the track. Something's happened to Steph Vessels here. Is there a black flag I'm not aware of, or? He continues on. I'm not sure what's happened to Steph Vessels there, but he drops out of contention for this top 2 spots as McCluskey all of a sudden is right onto the rear of William Guthrie out of nowhere, and a bad exit from turn number 1 from Guthrie. McCluskey's going to take to the inside with Langford following potentially. There goes McCluskey far later on the brakes, and look at that, the undercut there, the undercut dive there from Langford, and he puts it into 3rd place. What is this, the curse of 2nd place? Guthrie's lost 2nd place within a few corners as well, just like Vessels did just half a lap ago. But challenging back is Guthrie, but that's McCluskey into 2nd place. And Langford, he'll be fine with this. This is not too many points lost in the championship to these 2 drivers. So, and while all this is unfolding, Gavin Gardner has now stretched that lead to 7.3 seconds. He's extended that gap by about 1.5 seconds since taking the lead of this race, pretty much. Unbelievable scene so far tonight. And William Guthrie, what on earth's going on with him? He's in the pits now. What is going on tonight? William Guthrie's in the pits. Let's see if we can get a bit closer. in the box and then straight back out. It's not a drive-through penalty, obviously. Good stop in the box. Perhaps taking a fast repair. He's back out on the track. Rejoins 9th. Chat, please let me know what's happened here if I'm not aware. I don't know what's going on. I should know, but I don't. Well, that really does mix things up. Langford now rubbing his hands as he's now got McCluskey. He can battle with, or he can just leave McCluskey in front. He's not losing too many points in the championship to him, but every point counts in this championship, as we've seen from many seasons actually. Many a close final race battles, including 2 seasons ago, the battle at Daytona for bronze category between 6 drivers. Of course, the final championship battle, the gold category between McCluskey and Vessels, and went back and forth between them two at Le Mans a few seasons ago. Of course, it went down to an internet disconnection. It resulted in Vessels winning the championship, and that happened on the final lap. So it means that every point you can get, you need to get. Let's just take a little bit of attention to silver category, as Alan McCain is actually closing in on Jeffrey Kruger a little bit. He's got that gap down to less than 5 seconds, so this isn't over by any stretch. Jeffrey Kruger encounters a lot of traffic. That gap between him and Alan McCain is going to come down even more. And in the bronze category, that lead for Josh Downing is depleting a lot. That last lap from Gabriel Papaconstantino was 3/4 of a second quicker, and it's now just 2 seconds behind Josh Downing, who has been in control of this race for the majority of it, I would say, until now, as Papaconstantino is now stamping down the laps. Half a second quicker on that last lap for the British Cypriot driver, charging towards potentially another win in bronze category, and there have been many this season. I'm just going to see if I can find out how many wins there has been for Gabriel Papaconstantino this season. He has had 2 sprint race wins, of course, the first one of them being tonight, and the other at Hockenheim, at Interlagos. 1 feature race win coming out Interlagos. It was, of course, a double race win at Interlagos and did not compete in the endurance. So 3 wins this season for Papaconstantino, whereas Josh Downing won the first race of the season in bronze category at Mexico City. That is the only race win so far for Josh Downing, so this could be, he can keep this going, race win number 2. But look at Papaconstantino, is now down below 2 seconds, or just over 2 seconds now behind. So we'll come back to this one. It could be a battle to the end of the race. 15 minutes to go. I wouldn't put it past Gabriel Papaconstantino to catch that back up and battle it out. These two drivers that are battling for gold category championship. One that's won it before, and one that has fallen short for a few seasons now is Harry Langford. Now in control of the championship, is on the other end of the duel, but also has William Guthrie to worry about in this championship as well. Not necessarily in this race, as the aforementioned is down in 9th right now. Alan McCain in silver category has got that gap to around 4 seconds now. It was just below 4 seconds a moment ago Tenths quicker than Jeffrey Kruger. Needs a little bit more than that to catch up by the end of this race. But Alan McCain really putting in the good laps here. And what might actually also be a very good result in silver category, as we see a car spinning in the background. That's Davide Favo. Zara McGuinness has not had a podium finish, I believe, in silver category. And this could be a first. He's putting a stellar performance in this feature race. Paul Williams not too far behind. Paul Williams, of course, was robbed of victory in the feature race with a photo finish with Alan McCain on the final lap at Interlagos. But a podium's on the cards for Paul Williams if he can close in on Zara McGuinness. Jeffrey Kruger passing by lap traffic now. Six seconds behind Gavin Gardner. He really is hanging on to it at the moment. It'll be a very popular win. It will if Gavin Gardner can sew it up. 3/10 behind McCluskey on that last lap. That's a good enough. If he can keep that up, that will be good enough. .12.5 to go. Flashing lights there from McCluskey to the back marker. That is Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, whose honeymoon at Aragón circuit, his home circuit, a round ago, has come to a bit of an end with 8th place so far tonight. But there's no doubt that Ruiz Hernandez has got some serious pace in bronze category. Just needs to piece it all together for a good race outside of Aragón. But we have got coming up, I would say next week is coming up later on this week, we have got an endurance round on the 30th of April. It is the Nürburgring Nordschleife that will host the second endurance round of the championship on Thursday. Not much time for the drivers to prepare for that, even though it is the longest track in iRacing and the longest track on this calendar, of course, as a result. But that'll be an interesting one. The last time we were at Nordschleife was the GT3s. I think it was season 6 we were last there, or season 7, one or the other. Let me just go have a look through my files, actually, see when the last time we were at that track. Season 6. And that was a McCluskey winning championship. Come back to this shortly. Seems to be a bit of a stalemate between McCluskey and Langford at this point. Like I said, the fine margins between these drivers at the top of the table in this championship find it difficult to find those extra tenths on one another. But one person who's finding tenths and tenths and tenths each lap, half a second on that last lap, quicker than Jeffrey Kruger, is Alan McCain. He's really catching up to Kruger now. Might be able to mount a challenge for that top spot in this category before the end of the race. And you know what? Last time out at Aragón wasn't a good round for Alan McCain. It really, really wasn't. If I remind myself, he was only 21 points scored at Aragón to John Berry, who was the highest scorer of silver category, 45. So more than double the points Alan McCain got the last round. This is a big turnaround for Alan McCain tonight. But Jeffrey Kruger up ahead. He is a threat for the championship for those two drivers. He is a threat. If he keeps getting the results in, he will be a contender for silver category once drop rounds are implemented and by the end of this championship. Meanwhile, bronze category, it is officially now close between Josh Downing and Gabriel Papaconstantino. There's no denying Gabpap is the fastest of the two. Catching one thing, passing as another, as a famous commentator once said, and it wasn't me. Below 6/10 now between the two. Oh, a little bit of dust kicking up, running as wide as he does. Will Papaconstantino, the only driver out there representing Aztec Racing today. Matthew Cheverton normally races, but he's on a bit of a part-time program at the moment, is Matthew Cheverton. Wide there goes Josh Downing, desperate to stay ahead and go quicker than Papaconstantino behind. Across the line they go, that last lap. 3.5 tenths, should I say, separate them. So not much, but it is now officially close. So one big exit or one big mess up from Josh Downing can change this. They've also got Sean Shute behind, trying to gain more positions in this race in silver category. So we'll want to get rid of these bronze drivers ahead. But equally, does he get himself involved in this battle? It's the view from the Huracan. It's the Acura ahead. Gains a lot on entry to the corner, but there's two very different race lines going through that hairpin. Papaconstantino turning much earlier into the corner and braking later, whereas Josh Downing taking a bit more of a late entry into the corner and a more powerful exit. Still no progress between McCluskey and Langford. Langford might just be cashing in for a third place now. Alan McCain is less than 3 seconds behind Jeffrey Kruger. The last few laps, actually, Kruger has responded. That last lap was only 2 tenths slower than McCain. Seven minutes to go in this race that is around about 4 or 5 laps. It's probably going to be 5 laps remaining in this race. Can Downing hang on to it? Can he get his second win of the season? Or will Papaconstantino get his 4th win of the season? That was a good response lap actually from Josh Downing, only a 10th slower than Papaconstantino. We also have a battle in the top 5 still in bronze category. Shimoy Samuel is having a very good night actually. Catching up to Kurt Van Honecker, challenging for 4th place. And they're not too far behind 3rd place either. So a battle for 3rd could be on by the end of this race. Flashing lights there from Shimoy Samuel, trying to put off Kurt Van Honecker up ahead. Nice late exit. Oh no, probably the power down a little too early there for Shimoy Samuel. A little bit later, could have got a good exit from the hairpin. What do I know? I'm a commentator. Kurt Van Honecker there in the Ken Block inspired livery there. And a very, very nice black and red livery there. For VCR is Shimoy Samuel, now covered in dust. Five minutes to go in this session. Shimoy Samuel trying to flash lights to put off Kurt Van Honecker. At least I'm assuming that's what Shimoy's saying back there. Meanwhile, in silver category, Alan McCain is now less than 2 seconds behind Jeffrey Kruger with just a few laps remaining. Now he'll be able to catch up with Jeffrey Kruger if this is anything to go by. But will he have enough time to actually line up a pass? It's a very tricky track to overtake on, as we mentioned. Time's running out for a lot of these drivers going for the extra positions. And they are Alan McCain, Harry Langford, Papaconstantino, Shimoy Samuel, and others. wide. There goes Papa Constantino. That's going to disrupt him with Sean Shute, who's on his outside. And Gabriel's back ahead, but that's a little bit of time lost. And Sean Shute goes for the dive, and Papa Constantino has to watch out wide. And that'll lose a lot of time. That might have handed the race to Josh Downing now. And Papa Constantino lets Sean Shute know that he's not happy about that, actually. That might have handed the race to Josh Downing, actually. Down below a second is Alan McCain to Jeffrey Kruger, and also Paul Williams is less than a second behind Zara McGuinness. The battle for the top spot is on in silver. The battle for the third spot on the podium is on in silver as well. And he might also be in the bronze category as well if Kurt Van Honecker can catch up with Steven de Gravelia. No moves yet from Langford. But that's the gap of the silver category, top of the table. 3 minutes to go. Can McCain do it? But regardless of that, what a stunning night it has been for Alan McCain. Pace worthy of gold, I would say. Just baiting the Discord server a little bit there. Two minutes to go. Let's see where Gavin Gardner is on the track. You know what? He might have 3 laps to go, including this one. That'll help out the likes of Alan McCain, Paul Williams, and Kurt Van Honecker, who actually now is behind Shamoy Samuel. Oh, I'm sorry, Shamoy, if you are in the chat. I missed that move. Oh, we can go back to the replay of it after the race. We'll do that to see how he got into 4th place there. We'll try and do that. But we have to go to silver category. Look how close McCain is to Jeffrey Kruger now. Kruger could be saving fuel. That could be what's happened here. Either that or McCain's sheer pace. There's a little bit of a battle for 6th place in silver category as well between Klumpert and Sykes. Langford's a little bit closer to McCluskey as well. Perhaps not close enough to make a move. I think we're going to have 2 laps to go. No, it is the white flag waving. This is the final opportunity for Alan McCain to get by Jeffrey Kruger and Paul Williams to get by Zara McGuinness and Harry Langford to make a move on Benji McCluskey, which he tries to at the hairpin. McCluskey has to concede though, but it's going to be a drag race down the main straight, which McCluskey wins straight away between the two. They have been catching up with Gavin Gardner in the last few laps, but it's not going to be enough. Gavin Gardner is going to win his first race for a very long time. This is a big dive from Langford. He has to get out of it because that could have caused a very big collision and caused big points loss in the championship. He thought better of it. I think McCluskey has got it now. We'll go to our winner shortly. Is there going to be a final move into the Mercedes corner from Alan McCain? He goes to the outside. We do have to switch though, as Gavin Gardner is going to be a race winner in the gold category here at Next Gen in the GT3 League. What a victory, a very popular victory. And Benji McCluskey will come through in 2nd place ahead of championship leader, who might still be championship leader after tonight, Harry Langford. Meanwhile, in the silver category, there has been a swap for 3rd place between Paul Williams and Zara McGuinness. We'll take a look at that later on. But Kruger, oh, he had to guard the inside a little bit there from Alan McCain, but it's not going to be enough. Kruger is going to win this 2nd race, but it is going to be a brilliant 2nd place and a fantastic night from Alan McCain for 2nd place. But Kruger is your winner. Paul Williams, he was robbed on the final lap a few weeks ago at Interlagos, but he is the robber on this lap here at Hockenheim. He gets a podium, 3rd place to Paul Williams, takes it away from Zara McGuinness, who had a brilliant race herself here, but it's 4th place. Josh Downing had to fight for it in the end, but will claim first place in bronze category if he can get through these final few corners, which I'm sure he will. It's a second win of the season for Josh Downing and could be maintaining the lead of the championship out of tonight. Gabriel Papaconstantino, second position, but what a brilliant fight back from him. And third place, back on the podium, is Stephen de Gravelia. Third in bronze. What a night this is for Gavin Gardner. Really had to fight for that as well, with Stefan Vessels, with Craig Tordock, and then keep it ahead of the big hitters that are, not literally, but the big names of this league that are McCluskey and Langford. Well done indeed to Gavin Gardner. God, what a race. What a race. Right, let's go back to a few replays, because we did see a swap of positions between Kurt Van Honecker and Shamoy Samuel. So here it is. This is heading around Parabolic. It was a good exit from turn 3, by the looks of it. And that's it. It's done even before the hairpin. But Kurt Van Honecker, I think, did... No, Shamoy Samuel did finish 4th in the end. So there we go. Nice exit from the corner to make that move. Meanwhile, this was the move that decided 3rd place. And this is heading around Parabolica as well. Zara McGuinness guarding the inside. And Paul Williams just commits to the inside. Zara lets Paul have that move on. There is contact between the two. Ooh. That one might find its way into the steward's room, or the steward's review, should we say. Was it a legitimate move? Let's have a look from on board both drivers. This is Paul Williams' view. Remember, this is the battle for what will end up being 3rd place in this race. I tell you what, it was getting onto the grass that didn't help Paul Williams. That it bobbled him out to the outside. But it's a very difficult overtake to do it. That shallow entry into the corner. And keep it away from contact. So this is Zara McGuinness' view. You see from that view, Zara McGuinness just gets a big hit from the side. It is one for the steward's room though. Go. So we are going to go to the provisional results, as I don't think the steward's review has been done just yet, as we are live streaming this on Sunday, as we mentioned. But I think Gavin Gardner is about to do donuts in front of us, so we'll look at... Oh. Yeah, there we go. We'll look at the race results. Gavin Gardner doing donuts on the start line. A very popular win, as we mentioned. Wins gold category here at Hockenheim in the feature race. Benji McCluskey takes 2nd position, with Harry Langford, our championship leader, in 3rd position. Steph Vessels, another one of them nights for him. 4th place in this race, though, with Craig Tordock battling for the top spots for a lot of that race, is 5th. Gaz Williams 6th, with George Blaster in 7th. Jack Pittas will finish 8th. And William Guthrie, well, not entirely sure. Went into the pits early, but it's 9th place for William Guthrie, with David Price recovering actually to 10th place. Adam Wilson-Weir, a good sprint race, not such a good feature race by the looks of it, is 11th, with Archie Bennett in 12th position. Jason Raff 13th from Phil McDougall, who DNF'd that race, as did Kieran Davidson and Ben Altria. Silver category now, and it is a win for Jeffrey Kruger, despite Alan McCain reeling in towards the end of that race. 2nd place for Alan McCain, following a very successful night for him. Paul Williams 3rd place, swipes it away from Zara McGuinness on that final lap, with Zara McGuinness getting 4th place in the end. But we'll see what happens to that position following steward reviews. John Berry, a very medium night, I would say, for him, but 5th place in this race for John Berry. A good comeback, though, in that race. Was far down the order at the start. Quinton Clumper, 6th position, followed by Elwyn Sykes in 7th. Sean Shute in 8th, followed by Andrew Allen in 9th. Matthew Addy in 10th, with Nigel Stock in 11th. Stein Vatens in 12th. Mark Baker in 13th. Wojciech Kerp in 14th. And in 15th is Matthias Smolny. Meanwhile, in the bronze category, it is a win for Josh Downing, 2nd of the season, just ahead of Gabriel Papaconstantino, who had a little bit of trouble with traffic towards the end then and couldn't mount a challenge to Josh Downing. 2nd place for Gabriel, though. Stephen de Grevelier is 3rd position, a podium for him back onto the podium, with Shamoy Samuel taking 4th place from Kurt Van Honecker towards the end there. Kurt Van Honecker, as we mentioned, rounds off that top 5, and then a lap or more down were Wesley Lewin, Jochen Siegert, Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, Andrew Rooney, Mike Riedner, Matt Gatter, and Davide Favo. And we will have some interviews, I think. Well, if anyone's watching and wants an interview live, please join the interview waiting room. In the meantime, let's have a look at the championship standings as we head out of tonight and into the next round, which is going to be the Nordschleife, the 2nd endurance round of the championship. So the lead in the championship after tonight, still in gold category, is Harry Langford. Only scored 3 points less than Benji McCluskey, actually, but only 2 points less than them, or less than Langford, was William Guthrie. Without what happened in the feature race, maybe a higher position there would have been a lot better for William Guthrie, but still has a sniff of the championship here, only 16 points off of top spot. Benji McCluskey with the highest scoring gold category driver tonight, 36 points and just 2 points behind Guthrie. Gaz Williams now takes 4th in the championship from Stefan Vessels. A very good championship so far for Gaz Williams, the host. Jack Pittas 6th, followed by Gavin Gardner, who takes 7th place following that win in the feature race just then. George Plaster 8th, with Adam Wilson-Weir in 9th, and Jason Raffin 10th. We'll go to Silvers now. Still leading the championship is John Berry, despite a difficult round tonight. 156 points, just 1 point ahead of Alan McCain, who had a storming night tonight. 42 points, more points than anyone tonight. 1 point off top spot. Jeffrey Kruger has a bit of ground to make up in this championship, but is still within reach. Less than 30 points behind top spot Jonathan Berry at the moment. Quinton Clumper, having a very consistent season despite missing round 1, is in 4th position, tied on points with Matthew Addy. Paul Williams, 6th position, with his best round of the season tonight. Stan Vatens is 7th, followed by Wojciech Kerp in 8th position. Neil Forbes in 9th, and Stephen Fry, who missed tonight, is 10th. Bronze category, like I said earlier, Josh Downing still leads the championship on 149 points, just 6 points ahead of Gabriel Papaconstantino, who has another good night tonight. Highest point scorer in the bronze category. In 3rd place still is Adrian Ruiz Hernandez, who had that good night at Aragón, but tonight not as good, but still a good haul of points tonight. Is actually the 2nd highest scoring driver, tied with Stephen de Grevelier tonight. Jonas Anderson is 4th, only 6 points down from Adrian Ruiz Hernandez. Wesley Lewin is 5th position, followed by Jochen Siegert. Stephen de Grevelier, who had his best night tonight, is 7th. Matt Gatter 8th. Shamoy Samuel in 9th. And Davide Favo in 10th. And the team's championship. CSA Team Pass Up are still leading the championship, but only by 12 points actually. But CSA could have scored more points tonight, it must be said, with Stefan Vessels having issues in the sprint and the feature race. But in 2nd place, still doing real well, is Type 2 Racing Wolf. They're piloted by 3 drivers who were in and around the top 5 for the majority of tonight. Type 2 Racing IMB are in 3rd position. The Crest Autosport A, with a good night for them. They had good point score in that final race with Stephen de Grevelier and Alan McCain both finishing on the podium. And they were the highest scoring team tonight. And Full Tilt Motorsports, who have William Guthrie scoring a lot of their points, they are 5th at the moment. So we are going to chat to one of our standout performers tonight. Might end up being our only interview tonight. But we are going to go back to an earlier point in this race. We are going to chat to... Very shortly, we are going to chat to Alan McCain. There we go. Let's join Alan McCain in the commentary booth now. Alan, welcome along. Oh, excuse me, you can't hear me. Welcome along, Alan, to the commentary booth. This is, as we have to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday night rather than Thursday night. It is recorded or streamed long after the actual race took place. But Alan McCain joins us tonight. Alan, what a race you had tonight. First place in the sprint and second in the feature race. You must be well pleased with your progress tonight.
Yeah, really over the moon.
Oh, hang on, mate. Hang on, mate. Hang on, mate. Hang on, mate. There we go. Start again.
Really over the moon. Just one of them things. Just waiting for it to come. It just has came at a good time.
Just repeat that, mate. We just had a few issues with the devices. Yeah, sorry about that. We are sorted now.
It's been good to do what I've done tonight. It's proven that I should be at the top from my performance, and it's been a long time coming, but the course has finally clicked with this new update, and it's a lot easier to drive.
So what are the key differences? We were mentioning at the beginning of the night the BOP has switched a little bit, the physics changed a little bit. What is actually the key difference with the Porsche now?
They have dropped the weight of it, give us more torque, but they have give us more aero drag. But it's the torque, we need it to get out of the corners, and the weight was the big issue on the front tyres in a dry race. Don't know what it's going to be like in any of the wet race, but it's a nice car to drive now.
That's good to know. That is absolutely good to know. And now you're only 1 point off the championship lead at the halfway point in the season. How are you fancying your chances for the rest of the season now? A big boost of confidence, I imagine.
Yeah, massive boost of confidence. It's one of them things that I just had to do that tonight. I felt that it was something trying to prove a point, because the BOP has obviously helped the previous week. Couldn't have done this, but now that the car is working properly, I feel like I will be very close, if not top of the tables by the end of the season.
Excellent stuff. So next up is the Nordschleife. Not everyone's cup of tea, but how do you find that track normally? I did an endurance with you at that track many moons ago, but yeah, how are you looking forward to the next round or not?
I kind of am, but I'm kind of in an unknown territory with Porsche. But then again, as I say, with BOP, it probably should in theory be a good car. I'm hoping it'll be a good car.
Well, time will tell. We'll find out on Thursday, on the 30th of April. Lastly, Alan, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to who might be watching this broadcast?
All the next gen guys for putting this on, doing the stewarding and safety cars, and yourself for such an excellent stream.
Thank you very much, mate.
And all the teammates for keeping me sane.
Of course, you have to say that. Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic stuff, Alan. Strong performance tonight. We'll see you next time at Nordschleife.
Thank you.
There we go. Winner of the bronze category, silver category. Excuse me. In the silver category, in the sprints, and second position in silver category in the feature race. Now, next up, we are going to talk to our bronze category interviewee, who had very similar results to Alan McCain, who we just talked to just then. Now, the only thing I have to do is try and spell this person's name right in the interview tab. I think that's right. So we are now going to chat to Gabriele Papaconstantino, who is going to join us in the comms booth now. Winner of the bronze category in the sprint race and second place in the feature race. Gabriele, welcome back to the comms booth. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, Alex.
Perfect. We had a few issues just then, but all good now. Yeah, Gabriele, quite a strong night. First place in the sprint race, back to winning ways. And in that feature race, you were trying desperately to claw down Josh Downing, but towards the end, you were interrupted, let's just say, by another driver, and that hampered your progress. Would you say that's a fair assumption of how your race has gone?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I wasn't best pleased with how it had gone down at the end there. I definitely thought I was in with a shot there for the win. Seeing as the pace I had as well, it all just sort of clicked in that sort of last few minutes, and I thought, yeah, I'm definitely in for a shot here. And then, yeah, unfortunate turn of events, but yeah, it is what it is. That's racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just sometimes it doesn't quite fall for you. You want a few more laps as well. Sometimes it's just how it works. But you must feel at this point you've gained rapidly on Josh in the championship. You're now only 6 points behind as of it is right now. You must feel you've got, with how much you clawed down Josh down towards the end there, you must feel you've got a big chance at the championship right now.
I definitely do. I mean, I'm trying not to focus on it too much, just taking it one race at a time. But obviously, it's there at the back of your mind. You do know that opportunity is there, and of course, if it's there, I'm going to take it with both hands and run.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. So we got the Nordschleife coming up next. How is that track for yourself? I can't say that we've seen a Lamborghini take on the Nordschleife before, but this might be the first time. How is that track for yourself?
If I'm being honest, I haven't done a lot of laps around there, especially on the VLN circuit. So it's going to be a new experience racing it for the first time there. So it will be interesting to see, but I think it's just, with it being the Nürburgring and just the nature of green hell itself, it's damage limitation the whole time. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes down next week.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say this season has been the best race for you? You had a big comeback in that feature race, but what's the one race you've had this season where that stands out as your best?
I know the result doesn't reflect it, but I'd like to say this race that we've just had now at Hockenheim. I mean, the pace was there. Of course, Interlagos, I did get that controversial double win. I forget not to say that, but yeah, I think this time round at Hockenheim, the car felt great. Pace was really good. I was catching, passing, making some good moves, keeping a level head when things went south a little bit, and just clawing my way back to contention for the race win. So I'd have to say it would be this round so far.
I could see why you picked it. Storming drive in the feature race then. So yeah, big well done, Gabriele. And I've just realised I spelt your name catastrophically wrong on the broadcast here. I apologise for that.
Right,
but
okay.
yeah, anybody who might be watching the broadcast tonight you want to give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to my mum and dad. I know they were watching it just earlier. Shout out to a girlfriend as well back in Germany who was watching it. She was definitely interested in these next two rounds. So yeah, she's shout out to her, and shout out to the sponsors as well, Claremont, Shooting Brake, and everybody else in the team as well. Yeah, and thank you as well, Alex, for putting this race on. I know you had a bit of a tough time on Thursday with some certain things, but thank you again for coming back and doing this today.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, Gab, thanks very much for putting on a good show tonight. We'll see you next time at the Nordschleife. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much, mate.
There we go. And sorry, Mum and Dad, for butchering your son's name. But yeah, that's going to wrap up our racing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've got no more interviews. It would have been nice to speak to Gavin Gardner, I will be honest, but he's not around at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, hey-ho, we'll move on. We'll move on. Still a cracking result for him. So let's go through the results one more time. Yes, we are allowed to see the results at this point. So here we go. Our top three from gold category in this feature race were Gavin Gardner, Benji McCluskey and Harry Langford. And our winner from the sprint race, to remind you, was William Guthrie. In the silver category, our top three in this feature race were Jeffrey Kruger, Alan McCain and Paul Williams. And our winner from the sprint race was Alan McCain. And in the bronze category, our top three were Josh Downing, Gabriele Papaconstantino and Stephen de Grevelier in third position. Gabrielle won the sprint race as well. Here is a reminder of the championship order heading out of tonight. In the gold category, our leader is Harry Langford by 16 points from William Guthrie and 18 points from Benji McCluskey. In the silver category, John Berry leads by 1 point from Alan McCain, who in third leads by near 30 points from Jeffrey Kruger. Bronze category, Josh Downing leads the championship but only by 6 points from the charging Gabriele Papaconstantino in second place. And rounding off that top three is Adrian Ruiz Hernandez. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching round 5 tonight at the Hockenheimring. That's the first half of the season over and done with. Up next is the second half of the season, and it is going to be the Nordschleife up next, the VLN circuit, as Gabrielle mentioned just a moment ago. This is the big one, the biggest track on iRacing, the biggest track of the calendar, the one that sends shivers down our spine. It is Green Hell next for round 6. Join us on NXTGEN Racing TV, live on YouTube and live on Facebook for that 6th round of the championship. This has been the NXTGEN Racing GT3s. A big shout out to our sponsors: PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design and Falconer PC. This has been the NXTGEN Racing GT3 Championship. Again, thank you very much for your understanding tonight that this has been a broadcast on Sunday night instead of Thursday night. We'll be back to Thursday night lives on the 30th from the Nordschleife. But for me, Alex Everett, your commentator tonight and for the season, it's over and out, and we'll see you next time at Green Hell. Goodbye and thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.